of the New York Knicks, and he has to have the big game today if the Knicks are to win this must game. They call it magic at Madison Square Garden. Monroe, so inventive with the basketball, always doing new things. And the other half of New York's Rolls-Royce backcourt, Walt Frazier, who played a superb game Thursday night as the Knicks even the series and force this showdown today in Houston. The New York guards will have to try and stop 5'9" Calvin Murphy of the Rockets, the smallest player in the NBA, and yet one of the most explosive. Up front, the key player in the Houston offense is big Rudy Tomjanovich. The Rockets' top scorer, a man with shooting finesse and a lot of muscle to get there.
Basketball, when you watch the NBA, when you watch the NBA on CBS.
Good afternoon from Hoffheinz Pavilion, the University of Houston. I'm Don Crickey, and one of the NBA's all-time greats, Jerry West, is with us today. This is the 85th game of the season for both the Rockets and the Knicks, and as you know, the curtain comes down for one of them on the season. One of them is out with the loss today. And Jerry West, no one knows better than you the feeling they're going through, having led your team to the NBA playoffs 14 times.
Well, Don, this basketball game, I think that the Knickerbockers might be considered old hat. They've been here before, and they know what it's all about. But if you look at Houston, Houston has really not participated in the playoffs since the franchise moved here. And these players, I know, have been sitting around all day, yesterday, dwelling upon what's going to happen to them. If they could win this basketball game here today, it might make their season, it might make their franchise. So they're very hopeful of a win, and the Knickerbockers are hopeful they can play the kind of basketball that they have throughout the year.
It's a very interesting series so far. The Rockets won handily in the first game here in Houston. Then the Knicks blew them out at Madison Square Garden. So we can't be sure what's going to happen today.
Eric is back. New Eric Tips. A long, daring shape. A big, bold taste in a tip cigar. Smoking satisfaction that's been a long time coming. Discover new Eric Tips. The most interesting idea since the blonde. Eric Tips. Natural, menthol, or cherry flavor. Bold new companion to famous regular size Eric.
Fred, a volunteer fireman needs a car that starts. I recommend an AC Delco tune-up. AC Delco? Yeah, I use a matched set of parts, the type recommended for your car. Quality engineered AC Delco parts like Delco Remy points and condensers, and new AC spark plugs. An AC Delco tune-up should help improve your starting, and it can help you save gasoline. Charge it, Lou.
Ask for AC Delco at tune-up time.
A term you often hear in NBA basketball is matchups, how individual teams stack up against other teams, player for player. And there are some interesting matchups in this game and some overmatches. There's certain disadvantages both these clubs will find themselves in. And, Jerry, I know the backcourt's one of them.
That's right. New York feels that they have a very definite advantage back there, size-wise and also in ability. Here's one of the really disadvantages for Houston. Earl Monroe driving around to Calvin Murphy. He's got a big size advantage. You'll see a lot of Monroe going against Murphy. Here's a guy that I think can come up with a super ball game, maybe win the ball game by himself. Walt Frazier, great penetration shot, and you're going to see a lot of him today. Okay, here's New York's offense getting in motion again. The man has shot extremely well the last part of the season for the Knickerbockers, John Gianelli. Here's Houston. Murphy's great ability, is, of course, his speed and his great ball handling ability. Blows by Earl Monroe for his basket. Okay, Tomjanovich, Rudy Tomjanovich, one of the great forwards in the NBA today, super scorer, and here he makes a drive with a short hook shot for the basket. But here's the thing that he does best, just as well as anyone in the NBA, is outside shooting. A tremendous shooter, and Houston feels that he can match anyone in that department.
Jerry, last Sunday, when we had that big doubleheader that decided the final playoff spot in the East, you predicted the Knicks would beat Buffalo and that Kansas City would beat Cleveland. That turned out to happen. What about today?
Well, I really feel that you play the whole season for the home court advantage. Houston won the first ball game here handily. The Knicks won the first ball game in New York handily on their court. So maybe the home court advantage will work again today. But I really feel that New York has one great advantage. I really think that their backcourt is extremely difficult to contain against any ball club, particularly here against Houston's backcourt. But I think it's going to be a great ball game. It's going to be a very, very aggressive defensive game on both teams' part, and I think that's what Houston doesn't want to do. They don't want to allow New York to control the tempo early in the ball game.
And they're all professionals, obviously. How tight do they get in a game like this? But you got to win this one. Everything's on the line.
Listen, if a player doesn't say he's nervous, he's not telling you the truth. I know all these players are ready to play the basketball game. If you watch the New York Knickerbockers warm up, there wasn't very many smiling faces out there. And Houston, they were laughing and carrying on, but I think that they were more nervous than New York, to be frank with you.
Okay, we're just about set to go. The New York Knicks going through their final warm-up paces. The Houston Rockets on the home floor. Game 3, and they both got to win it. Only one will.
These days we're all making our little sacrifices. But I keep up appearances by continuing to buy Hager slacks. Even mix and match them with a new Hager top to give me a versatile wardrobe for $40.50, sir. Some luxuries one simply can't afford to give up. Isn't that right, Max?
Hager slacks of low-luster Dacron polyester from $12. And now Hager tops, $25 and under. So who says the cost of looking good is going up?
Thanks, Hager.
In the tradition of the world's most famous motorcycle, Harley-Davidson, 2 more expressions of engineering excellence designed for the man who won't settle for less. The Harley-Davidson SX175 and SX250 on-off-road machines. Take your choice, the SX175, the SX250. For the rider who demands the best, the Harley-Davidson man. See the yellow pages for your AMF Harley-Davidson dealer.
NBA playoffs will continue following this word from your local station. Athletes speak out on the Olympics and a report on affluence in Appalachia on 60 Minutes tomorrow on CBS.
Nothing like Michelob, eh? Well, son, here's to your new job.
Give me another week, Dad, then maybe I'll drink to that.
You'll do fine. Let me have another.
Why don't you have a bottle of Michelob? I mean, it's just as good as the draft.
Oh, sure it is. Michelob on draft. Well,
Michelob is great, whether it's on draft, in bottles, or in cans. No matter how you drink it, it's always an unexpected pleasure.
Now I'll drink to that.
Mail call, your magazine, my magazine, your bank statement, my bank tax statement.
Still only paying $2.50 a month at European American?
Nope.
Aha, I knew it.
Now I only pay $1.50.
Then you're getting less.
Nope. Still unlimited checking, personalized checks, a free safe deposit box, and lots more. I even qualified for preferred loan rates.
$1.50?
I just keep $1,000 in a European American savings account, earning interest.
And you get bank pack for $1.50? Hey, maybe I should switch.
Okay, you pick.
European American, member FDIC.
Channel 2, New York.
Give it all you got, take your very best shot, and may the best team win. The time is now, the name of the game is action. They're on the floor and they're ready to score, so let the game begin. And let's see how the ball's going about today. Welcome to NBA. Come on and join the run of the crowd. There's a night passing around from your way.
NBA playoffs, sponsored by Eric Sakai's famous regular size Eric plus new Eric tips. Hager slacks. Now you can mix and match Hager slacks with new Hager tops. Hertz with 54 tough new standards to help make your rent-a-car one less thing to worry about. And by Ford and your local Ford dealer. The closer you look, the better we look.
Back live now at Hofheims Pavilion, the University of Houston. There are the Houston Rockets playing before this sold-out arena. As their starting five is introduced, they'll have in the back line Calvin Murphy and Mike Newland. Kevin Coonerty is the center. Rudy Tomjanovich and Ed Ratliff are the frontline players, and here are the New York Knicks. Huddling around head coach Fred Holtzman. They are coming off a 106-96 win in Game 2 of this best-of-3 series at Madison Square Garden. A game in which the Knicks led at one time, as you know, Jerry, by 23 points. It's really been tremendous contrast in the first two games. Each team has won handily once.
Well, that's what seems to happen, Don, in home court advantages, and particularly in the playoffs. this basketball game today with the Knicks playing here in Houston, I think you're going to see them try to do the same kind of thing that they were doing in New York. They jammed the middle, made Houston go outside with a lot of their shooting, and Houston wanted to advance the ball down the floor rapidly, and they weren't able to do that in New York.
The officials for today's game with the ball is Daryl Garrison, and behind him is Manny Sokol. The alternate is Lee Jones. The Knicks will start Walt Frazier and Earl Monroe in the back line. John Giannelli will jump center, and the front court players, Bill Bradley and Phil Jackson. The Houston Rockets in white. Here is a tap controlled easily by Twitter. Goes to Ed Ratliff, a second-year player, two-time consensus All-American at Cal State at Long Beach. Ratliff looks inside. Twitter is moving from side to side of the lane. Here they go now to Lula, shooting up inside on Walt Frazier. Rebound tapped out to Monroe, and the Knicks are running. Earl Monroe with Frazier on the right flank. Earl Monroe sees the Rockets with the defense back, and so he goes to a pattern offense.
New York early in the basketball game, they always seem like they try to run a play for the center, but it looks like to me that they're trying to get their guards in low. And as we mentioned, here's Earl Monroe against Calvin Murphy. We'll see a lot of this today.
Calvin Murphy making it tough for Monroe to get off the shot. He missed it all. And the loose ball is taken down by Ratliff. He's 6'6", but he can play in the back court. Ratliff against Bill Bradley, and Ratliff takes it inside, goes to Newland from 25 feet. Rebound down to Bill Bradley, and the Knicks come back down the floor. They don't have a point up yet. Opening moments of the first quarter. The third and deciding game of this best of three playoffs. The New York Knicks and the Houston Rockets. Now the loose ball is picked up by Calvin Murphy. Up court to Newland. Giannelli's inside. Newland drives on him, feeds off to Tomjanovich. And Rudy Key puts up the first 2 points of the game.
Well, if you notice what Houston's going to try to do, they're going to get the ball down quickly before New York will set a real good defense. If they can do this early in the ball game, I think they can somehow develop a tempo that will be good for them and not for the Knicks.
A foul call. Foul is on Kevin Kunert for holding Giannelli. That's the first foul of the game, so the Knicks inbounds the ball. Here is Frazier trying to move on Kunert, brings it back outside, loops it into Giannelli, an overmatch against Newland. But John Giannelli took an extra step before he released the shot, and so the ball turns over to Houston.
You'll watch a lot of times in this ball game, and Phil Jackson will set a lot of screens for Walt Frazier. They'll play a lot of two-man games in this ball game today.
Tomjanovich given a clear side. He loses the ball to Phil Jackson, who slaps it away up court to Bill Bradley. Bradley leads the break down the middle off to the free man Monroe. Looking to shoot off the baseline. Newland cuts him off out to Frazier from 15 feet. The game is tied at 2. The New York Knicks moving the basketball well on offense. Their game is keyed around 5-man in motion. Team game. Now we have a foul call going against the New York Knicks. That one's on Giannelli, so both centers now have a personal foul.
In New York City, the Houston players were very upset with New York's very aggressive defensive play, and particularly in the middle with Giannelli against Cooter and also Ratliff against Bradley.
And Ratliff puts it up off the backboard. He gets the roll. The points count, and he'll go to the free throw line. No, it's going to come the other way. The foul was off the play. The basket.
Okay, here's the play again. Ratliff goes up under good defensive pressure. Really doesn't take a very good shot. And then here's Cooner shoving Giannelli out of the way, and that's where the foul was called. So good basket, and also a foul on Kevin Cooner, his second.
So he has 2 early in the game. You saw him jockeying for position with John Giannelli. The officials, some early whistles. They want to have good control of this game. It could be a very rough one.
You know, talking to John Egan before the basketball game, he felt the reason that the Houston Rockets were able to turn their season around was the insertion of Eddie Ratliff and also Kevin Cooner in the starting lineup.
That last foul is on Ed Ratliff. Giannelli puts it up. Way up to get the rebound is Tomjanovich. Here come the Rockets on the run. Mike Newland, lead pass up towards to Calvin Murphy. Gets it over to Tomjanovich, a 20-foot shot. And the Rockets move out to a 4-point lead, 6-2. Newland hawking Walt Frazier, loses Frazier as Frazier gets the pick from Jackson. Jackson rolling off it, getting the lead pass in the score. It's a 6-4 game.
That's what you're going to see a lot of. Walt Frazier and Bill Jackson working a lot of two-man plays. Frazier's very clever at laying the ball off, and of course Jackson makes the easy layup.
And so we have 9 minutes and 3 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Johnny Egan, the Rockets coach, is on the floor as Kevin Kunert was shaken up.
You know, the floor here in Houston is completely different than most NBA floors. They play on the university floor here at the University of Houston, and it's a tartan floor, and the surface is a lot different for the players to get used to. I asked some of the Knicks players before the ball game, and most of them, to a man, don't like the floor. It's hard to stop on this floor. Well, it's not hard to stop, but you have to get used to stopping correctly on this floor.
Mike Newland, a 6'4" guard out of Utah with the ball. He's matched up against Walt Frazier. The Rockets stack 2 men to the left of the lane. Outside comes Rattler. Inside goes Tomjanovich. The open lane is slapped clear. Ball is knocked free, and Frazier comes down for it. Leads to Ginelli. And Earl Monroe puts the ball up off the run. Doesn't get the roll, and down the rebound again off the defensive board with Tomjanovich. Here comes Newland looking for the lane. It is shut off nicely on a switch off. Frazier takes it up. Tomjanovich is again left free from the outside, and again he bangs and takes it for Houston.
This man is one of the great percentage shooters in the NBA, and he's going to do that consistently if he gets that kind of shot all the time.
Well, he already, Jerry, has 6 of the 8 points the Rockets have put up. Now here's another whistle from underneath. And we're apparently going to have a call against the Houston Rockets. Very, very spirited crowd here in Houston.
Well, here it is again. Monroe going against Calvin Murphy. Notice him trying to back him in. He turns and reverses. He looks like he's going to have to shoot the ball. And Newland hits him right across the arms, even though the people didn't think he fouled.
Earl Monroe at the free throw line for the New York Knicks. It's now an 8-5 game Houston. As you see, Monroe with his best scoring average since he joined the Knicks in 1971 from the then Baltimore Bullets. Almost 21 points a game. Misses the second. It's 8-5. Here come the Rockets in white. Mike Newland in the backcourt. Phil Jackson doubling up on him. Almost stealing the ball. Now they go to Calvin Murphy. Earl Monroe loses him, and Calvin Murphy takes it down the baseline. Can't get it. Got the look at this. Back to the basket. Tipped in by Ed Rattler.
That was a sensational play by Eddie Rattler. Calvin Murphy missed a relatively easy shot, and the reason he missed it, he had a very bad angle driving to the basket. But Eddie Rattler made a super tip with his offhand.
Bill Bradley, 20 feet away, and Bill Bradley is right on time for the Knicks against the 3-point difference. Rockets lead 10-7.
Back again, Rick.
The first point of the game for Bill Bradley of New York. Calvin Murphy speeds up to Tomjanovich. Backing 2 men either side of the lane, looking for the double screen. Here is a tip out, and Kunert comes down with the tallest man on the floor at 7 feet. And the ball goes back the other way as Newland loses control, trying to go down the baseline. The Knicks will inbound the ball, and the Rockets are now going to put backcourt pressure on the New York guard.
It doesn't do much good to put pressure on these 2 guards. These guys can really bring the ball up the floor. Hawthorne Wingo, and he's played a big hand in the victory in New York the other night. You know, also speaking of the New York players, it seems to me that one thing that New York wants to do, and they will try to do, is they'll try to come down and work some time off the clock. Houston gets the ball down rather quickly, and they're also mistake-prone. They're one of the leaders in the league in turnovers. And what's going on here is that some of the players feel that there's probably not enough air in the ball or too much air, and particularly on this court, the ball bounces very true on this court. It's not like some deportable courts, and they're trying to find a basketball they like. Most players don't like a new ball. They like an old ball that's been used a lot.
Seven minutes and 20 seconds left to go in the first quarter here at Hoffheim Pavilion, University of Houston. And the Knicks in blue will inbound the ball. The Rockets in a full court press. One advantage, if any, against good backcourt players like this, at least it slows them up bringing the ball up court, and they use up some of that shot clock. But Frazier, as you pointed out, Jerry, breaks the press easily, goes behind the back. And now Phil Jackson comes out high, looks for motion from the weak side, away from the ball. And again, they go back out to Monroe to Frazier. Against Tomjanovich, gives away 3 inches, doesn't go for the shot. Here's Monroe against Calvin Murphy. Calvin Murphy got the ball going up. Tipped by Kunert, picked up by Tomjanovich. And again, the Rockets have that checkmate in the middle on defense. They're shutting off the middle. Calvin Murphy from way out, and Jackson clears for New York. Bill Bradley looks up court. Half-court pass to Monroe. Inbounds the ball, but he stepped out of bounds while doing so.
You know, one thing that the Knicks should be able to do pretty well, and in the victory in New York, they were able to do it. And when they get the rebound, if they'll look down quickly, they should have a lot of chance for fast break baskets.
All right, with 43 seconds left to go in the first quarter, they want to talk it over. And the score is Houston
vacation, Hertz has more of what you need. More economy-size cars. Ford Pintos at $9.99 a day, plus mileage and gas. Four-door Mavericks at $13.99, plus mileage and gas. Rent for a week and get unlimited mileage. To get these non-discountable rates, you call Hertz or your travel agent for a confirmed reservation. Rates apply at most, but not all locations, and exclude Manhattan. Hertz has more of these cars than anyone. Number one has more of what you need.
Ford announces a no-nonsense $250 off the sticker price on not just any new car, but America's best-selling newcomer, Ford Granada. In a limited edition you can order now. Specially equipped with new exterior trim, a new bench seat and vinyl door trim. Also $250 off on limited edition Granadas with options like air conditioning and power steering. Comes in 3 feature colors in 2- and 4-door models. Quantities are limited, so see your Ford dealer and order fast. Ford means value. Look close and compare.
$250,000 will be on the line on April 26th when the tennis world focuses on Las Vegas for what a lot of people have been calling the heavyweight championship of tennis. That's the day when Jimmy Connors, the hottest name in the sport, takes on the great champion he has never been able to defeat, Australia's John Newcombe. It's a match that continues to be a center of controversy, and we'll be keeping you posted on events leading up to the match as they unfold. But remember, Saturday, April 26th, that's the big day for the Newcombe-Connors Challenge match here on CBS. In the first quarter of this must game for both teams, the best of 3 with the series tied 1 game apiece. The Houston Rockets lead the Knicks 10-7. Ratliff can't find a free man, throws it up. A lot of hard work and a lot of muscle being exercised under the backboard. And we have a whistle. It might be on Tomjanovich. It's his first. He's a rough player.
He is a great player, and he's a very aggressive board player. On that particular play, Phil Jackson had him blocked out real well. And New York now is in a bonus. It's a bad situation for Houston to be in. They've fouled a lot early, and New York could really do some very, very good scoring here, particularly if they keep working hard on their offense.
Phil Jackson at the free throw line now. He's been averaging over 12 rebounds a game in the last 8 games for the Knicks. Has been a big factor in their drive to make that final playoff spot. Jackson, a very aggressive player also. In fact, he's committed more personal fouls this past season during the 82-game regular season than any player in the league, save Bob Bandridge, who had just as many, 330.
Both of them are very aggressive players, and also they always seem to draw the other team's top offensive player. When you do that, you're going to be much more susceptible to fouls.
Ed Ratliff looking to lose Bradley with a fake, cannot do so, throws the ball right to Jackson. 2-6-8 now in a one-on-one matchup. Jackson switching hands, takes it through, goes to Frazier to Monroe. And we have a travel on New York. And the ball goes back the other way to Houston.
There's a good case where a man 6'8" or 6'9" should have held the basketball up, waited for Walt Frazier, and given him the basketball. And if they would have had a layup. But instead, they turned the basketball over.
Very proficient ball handling for a big man, though, as Jackson brought it down court. It is 10-9. Houston by 1. Calvin Murphy takes it right through. Can't get the shot, but he does draw the whistle. And Calvin Murphy goes to the free throw line for the Houston Rockets. Here's a guy 5'9", can stuff that ball 2 hands.
Okay, on this particular play, he actually dribbled the ball between his legs and changed direction, and Monroe hit him on the back, and he gets a chance to make 2 free throws. One of the really good free throw shooters in the NBA.
He indeed is. He's second to Rick Barry's 90%. Calvin Murphy hitting over 88% during the regular season. Calvin Murphy had the biggest scoring night of any Houston player this season. Hit for 45 in one game against Buffalo. Because he can't think about being shorter than the other guys. He's just got to play with all his shots. Now we'll come back to the Houston Rockets, and Red Holtzman wants to offer some counsel to his team as he signals for them to call a timeout. And so, with 5:37 left to play in the first quarter, the sold-out Hoff Hines Pavilion, the 10,000 here are on their feet cheering the leading Rockets.
I was 10 when my father started saving for my college education. Brian, he said, you're going to have it better than me. You just do the studying, and I'll do the saving. He had it all planned. There's only one thing he didn't plan. He didn't plan on dying.
When a man dies, his dreams don't have to die with him. Talk to us about your life insurance needs. Mutual of New York. Money for the future.
It
This is one of the best-known symbols in America, but not every American knows what it is. STP oil treatment mixes with the oil in your car and helps protect your engine from friction and wear better than the oil without STP. You add it to the crankcase when the oil is changed and the first time your oil is down. STP oil treatment. It helps your oil do a better job.
Burton's phone goes into Fenton's old office, Medding's into Burton's, Fenton's into Medding's, and Ames into Grossman's. Now, if you think all this looks complicated, it is.
Business communications is more than just telephones. It's also things you don't see, like an enormously complex wiring network. When you come to the Bell system, we take total responsibility for all of it, 100%.
I'm sorry. Mr. Medding wants his old office back.
Who knows more about phones than the phone company?
We are back and ready to go with 5:37 to play in the first quarter. The Houston Rockets leading the New York Knicks 12-9, and Houston has it all. That's Calvin Murphy with it. Earl Monroe picks it up just after he crosses the timeline. Ratliff against Bradley to give Ratliff a clear side. One-on-one now. Gianelli comes across. And here is Newland. Nobody open underneath, so he fires it up from way out. Rebound down to the Knicks, make them down in a controlled fast break, and Frazier will now slow it up. Let the big men set up under the basket. Jackson comes out high, gets the loop pass at the top of the key. Tomjanovich playing often will give him the outside shot. Frazier is rejected cleanly by Kevin Coonard. But he slapped the ball out of bounds, so it'll be inbounds to New York. But the Knicks will now have 10 seconds to get a shot off.
We have to be very impressed with Houston's defense so far. Whether or not they keep it up for the whole ball game remains to be seen, but they're playing very good defense.
They are. Very aggressive defense, tight switching defense. They had that barricade in the middle in the first game here, and the Knicks had to shoot from the outside, and Frazier got it off just before the shot clock buzzed. The basket counts again. It's a one-point game. The Rockets 12, the Knicks 11. Now as Houston comes down front, we have a referee blowing the whistle, and Calvin Murphy went down hard. Foul call is on Phil Jackson.
Here's Calvin Murphy going off the screen, and Phil Jackson stepped out, and I don't think he got there soon enough. He fouled Calvin Murphy on the play.
Again, Tomjanovich is free, and again, Rudy Tomjanovich, an All-American from the University of Michigan. Fires it in as they're laughing and scratching on the Houston bench. Steve Hawes will be in shortly. Right back the other way come the New York Knicks, and again we have a one-point game. Earl Monroe now with 3 points for New York. His first field goal. 14-13 Houston. Ratliff puts it up. And again, the roll goes against Houston, but there is a whistle and a foul call on New York.
It's a very good matchup inside. Bradley and Ratliff are going at it pretty good. Talked to Johnny Egan before the ball game, talking about Ed Ratliff. He feels that this is going to be one of the really fine players in the NBA for a number of years to come. He's unselfish, got good intelligence, and he feels that he can shut out most of the real good small forwards in the NBA.
Yeah, it was interesting the way Egan said his defense has improved about 85% over his rookie year. He's never seen a turnabout like that in any player, he said, in a single season.
Well, I think the reason why is they played him in the backcourt in his first season in the NBA, and he had a lot of difficulty covering quicker players. And his natural position, I feel, is forward in this league, particularly with so many small forwards in the NBA today.
6-6. Red Holtzman looking on pensively as the Knicks now are down by 3. They have the ball. Jackson bringing it up as he took it up unimpeded as there was a press against the 2 Knicks guards. Jackson goes to Bradley coming across. Monroe is trying to work down low against Calvin Murphy, and Calvin hooked him and is called for the foul. They're bringing Monroe way down low off the baseline, trying to get that overmatch as Johnny Egan on the right, his coach, assistant coach, Larry Siegfried, the counterparts of Red Holtzman.
Well, there's a very smart coach, Red Holtzman. He's done a great job for a number of years in New York, and doesn't say very much, but this man does a tremendous job.
Earl Monroe hits the free throw. He now has 4 points. The Knicks trail by 2 at 16-14.
Very good free throw shooter also. 2 of the better free throw shooting teams in the NBA playing here today.
Seems like everybody that comes up to the line once you get in the playoffs an 80% shooter.
It seems like all the good teams in the league shoot well from the field and also well from the free throw line.
Calvin Murphy dribbling to the outside. Inside to Tomjanovich, laying Monroe. And Tomjanovich has now put up 10 points, and he goes to the free throw line.
Okay, here we have the play again. Tomjanovich away from the basketball. Cuts inside. He gets good position on Phil Jackson. Jackson shoves him in the back, and Tomjanovich converts a three-point play.
Walt Frazier brings the ball up court. Looking inside, now to Monroe, matched up against Calvin Murphy. 3 minutes and 28 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Bradley at the top of the key goes to Jackson inside to Gianelli against Ratliff on an overmatch. And John Gianelli spins up and can't get the shot, couldn't rebound. Houston keeping the pressure on. Mike Newland comes down court. Gives the ball to Tomjanovich, and Tomjanovich tries a long line drive shot. Can't get it. But now with the offensive rebound as Ratliff loses the ball to Monroe, and we have a foul call.
Eddie Ratliff made a super play. He was one man against three there, and he came up with the ball, and then he commits a backcourt foul. Okay, he loses the basketball to Monroe, and here's the foul. Reaches around, backcourt foul. Monroe has 3 chances to try to make 2.
Earl Monroe at the free throw line led the nation's small colleges at Winston-Salem. Went to the Baltimore Bullets as their number 1 draft choice. When he came to the Knicks, a lot of people thought the only way he and Frazier could play in the same backcourt would be with 2 basketballs, but to their credit and to Red Holtzman, they formed one of the best backcourt alliances in the league.
Well, I really believe that good basketball players can play any kind of system and with any players. And Earl Monroe is a good basketball player, and Walt Frazier is a good basketball player, and that's why they were able to do it so well.
They really teamed up, and that's where the Knicks get most of their points. When the backcourt players went on play. Look at Calvin Murphy, way up, but he can't get the shot. He's been cold. Murphy putting up a lot of shots, but having a lot of difficulty hitting it. Walt Frazier brings the ball up court against him. Now, Earl Monroe puts on all those herky-jerky moves. The basket doesn't go, but Monroe draws another foul.
Houston, they're digging themselves a hole in this basketball game with their constant fouling. All their players are going to be in foul trouble very shortly. And really, the only way New York's been able to stay in this ball game so far has been their ability to get to the free throw line. Here's Monroe cutting inside, draws the crowd, and Cooner hitting with the body, and of course Monroe continues with the shot.
Monroe had a disastrous game in the first game here on Tuesday night. Put the ball up 20 times from the field, hit only 5 shots. And Bradley, who's had big games all season long against Houston, shot just as poorly. That's where the Knicks really didn't get the point production from Bradley and Monroe. And Monroe already now in this game has 9 points, and it's a tied game at 19. Now we'll have another foul call, and this one goes against the New York Knicks. John Gianelli gets his second.
Houston is going to bring Steve Halls off the bench, and he's going to spell Kevin Cooner after he shoots these 2 free throws. But as we mentioned previously, boy, there's a lot of really rough play going inside, particularly at the center position and also between Bradley and Ed Ratliff. They're doing a lot of shoving in there.
Big Kevin Cooner, in the space of 1 year between his sophomore and junior years in high school, he went from 6'2" to 6'10". He's worked hard with weight. That's growing fast, isn't it?
Fast-growing baby.
8 inches in a year.
Must felt rather awkward going to school with someone a foot shorter than you.
1 of 10 children every morning. He'd come down to the breakfast table. How much bigger are you, Kevin? Here is Earl Monroe doubling up on him. He still gets the ball free to Bradley. Basket does not go. The basket does not go. We have a 3-second violation signaled against the New York Knicks. And so the ball turns over to the Houston Rockets. They're in the lead by a single point, 20 to 19.
You know, the New York guards are really playing a lot of one-on-one basketball. They do it very well, but what they do is when you have a double-team situation where they're trying to help Calvin Murphy on Earl Monroe, and they'll pick out the open man, and New York does that really very, very well.
Here's Steve Hawes in the game. Out to Tomjanovich, who's conceding him the outside shot. He hits 3. Now he misses 2 in a row. But Mike Newland outfights Frazier for the ball. Newland puts it up. Doesn't get the shot, but again we have a foul on New York. Both teams over the limit here in the first quarter. John Gianelli now has a problem, and Neil Walker's coming in.
Okay, here's the play again. Gianelli goes for the fake, and of course, Newland kind of jumps into him a little bit, and he's able to draw the foul.
Newland looks like he tripped on the foul line.
I tell you, this guy's a great free throw shooter also. He shoots 86% on the year. Houston has two of the best ones in the league, in Murphy and Newland.
Yeah, he comes to play hard.
One of the more aggressive guards in the NBA.
Very bright guy. He was a Dean's List student, a Rhodes Scholar candidate at Utah. Will work towards his master's degree in English. Here is an inside pass to Hawthorne Wingo. Wingo lurking around the baseline, spun off and got free and gets his first points. And it's a 22-21 game. The Rockets by one. Ratliff goes inside, loses the ball, picked up by Newland, who gets it off to Steve Hard. And the big guy from the University of Washington banks it in, and the Rockets have a three-point lead, 24-21. Monroe now, part of the Knick game plan, very obviously. Send Monroe against Murphy, and Earl. Monroe throws it in, goes down hard. Calvin Murphy comes right back the other way, and there's a trip called on New York.
I tell you, these two guys have really been going at it. Murphy's been bumping him all over the floor, and of course Monroe with a little retaliation. I don't think he meant to trip him on that particular play. But it's very, very frustrating for the officials, I think, to let the kind of defensive play going on out there to continue. If they don't, they'll never get control of this game.
That was the second personal foul on Earl Monroe. And so Calvin Murphy with the Knicks over the limit now will shoot the penalty shot. We're less than a minute to go now in the first quarter, 54 seconds. It is a 26-23 game. Houston is in the lead. Calvin Murphy has 4 points as Frazier cautiously brings the ball up court with his back to Mike Newland. Looking for the pick now, he goes to Monroe, shooting over Calvin Murphy. Earl Monroe can't hit the shot. Tomjanovich clears here as Ratliff leading the fast break. Knicks getting back nicely. Cut off the Rocket break, but Calvin Murphy takes it right through. Too much on the shot, and Hawes down the offensive rebound. Doesn't get it, and Neal Walk clears from the arc. Here's a 3-on-2 break. Frazier, the whip-cracker down the middle. Penetrates the lane, and a whistle and a foul call, no basket.
Well, in that particular play, New York just simply outnumbered Houston down the floor. Houston tries to go to the backboard real hard, and of course, Frazier gets fouled on the drive, and he's going to have a chance to make a couple of free throws.
Mike Newland was charged with a personal foul. That's the second personal foul. And Walt Frazier, the next leading scorer, goes to the free throw line. Frazier has the best shooting percentage of any guard in the NBA playoff history. He ranks 7th on the all-time playoff assist record. He is averaging under 17 points a game against the Rockets this year. About 4 points under his season average. Now Jim Barnett, who was a big factor in the next second game victory at Madison Square Garden, is in the Knicks backcourt replacing Earl Monroe. He'll walk in the game along with Bill Bradley and Hawthorne Wingo up front. The Rockets going with Murphy, Newland, Ratliff, Hawes, and Tomjanovich. Sooners on the sideline. Calvin Murphy drives inside, gets the ball up over 6-11. Neal Walk and scores. That was the last play of the first quarter. Little Calvin Murphy makes the last play a big one as the Rockets take a 28-25 lead. This little guy can ignite a whole team.
You see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
You can buy a powder to help keep your feet dry, and you can buy a cooling foot refresher, and you can buy an athlete's foot treatment. Or you can buy Desenex. Desenex does it all. Sprayed into shoes and boots, it helps keep feet dry and comfortable. Sprayed through stockings, it soothes and cools hot, tired, aching feet. And medicated Desenex powder helps relieve itchy, burning, peeling feet. Athlete's foot. Desenex. It does a lot more than just fight athlete's foot.
Announcing not just a sale, but a way to get a special price on America's best sellers. A bestsellers sale at your Ford dealer. Get a special price on a specially equipped Mustang II, America's best-selling small luxury car. On Maverick, traditionally America's best-selling four-door compact. Or choose Pinto, America's top-selling small economy car. Your Ford dealer has been given a special incentive to give you a good buy on America's best-selling lowest price lineup. Ford means value. See your local Ford dealer. Look close and compare.
Gloria, I have to get back to the bank.
so he can reject some more loans.
At Manufacturers Hanover, making loans is one of the reasons we're in business.
You love to use that little stamper that says, no loan, just check.
We don't make any money turning people down. Manufacturers Hanover makes over 2,000 loans a week.
Hey, buddy boy, can you make a 2001?
Manufacturers Hanover. It's banking the way you want it to be.
With Jerry West, this is Don Crickey back in the University of Houston's Hofheinz Pavilion. We're ready now for the start of the second quarter. The Rockets are in the lead, 28-25. And here is Gus Bailey, a rookie out of Texas and El Paso, a great defensive player. He'll be coming in before long. John Egan goes to his bench a lot.
He has high hopes for Gus Bailey. He feels he's going to be a great player for a number of years to come. He's got great size, and Egan thinks he plays very, very good team defense.
Ron Riley is now in the game for the Houston Rockets. Tap control by the Knicks. Working in the backcourt, Jim Barnett and Walt Frazier. Earl Monroe has gone to the Knicks locker room. He walked off without a limp, but he went to the Knicks locker room. Inside they go to Hawthorne. Wingo puts the ball up against Tomjanovich. It rolls in and out. Here come the Rockets. Alvin Murphy, so very, very quick with the basketball. Tries to bounce lead to Mike Newland. It is kicked away by New York. The Rockets will inbound the ball.
You know, I'm sure a lot of people wonder, how can a player miss a shot that close to the basket? Most of the time, the reason you miss a shot like that is you don't get a chance to see much of the backboard. And, of course, they try to shoot at the same speed on it. It just doesn't work out that they can make it.
Bill Bradley on the New York bench. Ron Riley looks inside, goes cross-court to Steve Hawes. Missed it all, and down with the ball is Wingo. Up court to Barnett. Walt is down on the left flank, but he's not open. And they go outside to Walt Frazier, puts Hawes in the air with a fake, throws it up and draws a two-shot foul. He'll get 11:16 to play in the first half.
Okay, here's Walt Frazier coming down the floor again on this play. Notice how he makes the shot. And I think Walt can probably draw fouls in this particular play as well as anyone in the NBA today. This guy's a great basketball player, and as this ball game gets later and later, you're going to see him exert himself a lot more.
Clyde Frazier now has 5 points. The captain of the Knicks. And it's a 28-27 game as New York comes back to within 1. Mike Newland over the midcourt line, hands the ball off to Calvin Murphy. You have to back off him. You notice Barnett get away. Give him 10 feet. He'll zip right by if you play him nose to nose. Inside to Hawes, and here is Manny Sokol with a very demonstrative whistle as he leaps in the air. Now Earl Monroe is back on the bench. There he is. And it'll come back the other way as we had a foul call against Ron Riley underneath for pushing. 28-27, the Knicks can take the lead with a basket here. Walk goes outside to Mel Davis, the young second-year player from St. John's. Inside they go to Walk, and we have a foul call against Steve Hawes.
This is one of the most aggressive basketball games that I've seen inside the NBA in some time. Boy, those guys are really banging each other around, particularly the center.
They don't want to concede that lane. They're coming down on defense, both teams, and just entrenching themselves, throwing up a barricade. They want to keep that ball outside. Barnett unable to penetrate, throws up a fourth jump shot, rebound down to Hawes. Up court to Tomjanovich, 2-on-1. Frazier back to defend, lead to Newland, lays the ball in. Beautifully executed as Rudy. Tomjanovich brought it down on the dribble at 6'8".
Tomjanovich did a very fine job on that particular play. He waited until Frazier committed himself, and of course, threw the pass to Newland for the layup.
Walt Frazier backing in on Newland, arcs it up over him. What a pretty shot.
He's impossible to stop once he gets down there. He's got great size, and he has the ability to fade away. And, of course, he's a super shooter.
Frazier now has 8 points. It's a 30-29 game. The Knicks down by 1. And again, they come down court with a chance to take the lead. Jim Barnett, whose game is a buzzsaw, all-out attack all the time. He looks to put his head down and go to the hoop. As he said after the last game, if I could do all the other things, they'd call me Jerry West. That's Jim Barnett.
You know, the Knicks are not getting very many opportunities to shoot the ball. They get one chance, and Houston's done a very good job on their defensive board.
Mike Newland puts it up with 9:30 to play in the first half. Great rotation on the ball, a picture jump shot, and it's a 32-29 game. Houston with a 3-point lead again. Frazier comes right back the other way. His had too much on it. But look at Frazier out-hustle Newland for the offensive rebound. Rockets doing a great job. Boy, somebody goes to that baseline. They get three guys over there to shut it off. Tomjanovich way down court to Calvin Murphy. Ping-pongs the ball right in, but to Walt Frazier.
On that particular play, Rudy Tomjanovich just did not look up the floor quickly
Look at
enough.
all that. Jim Barnett puts on the head fake and just weaves his way right down the lane and lays it in. His first basket, a spectacular play, and the Knicks are back to within one. And Johnny Egan, the head coach of the Houston Rockets, wants his team to call a timeout. So John Egan brings his men over, an 11-year NBA veteran. It is 32-31 Houston.
Old Launchpad 19. I don't have to tell you that my Gemini flights from here took expert planning. But so does the proper handling of your family's financial security. You really need the expert guidance of a trained life insurance representative, especially one who's experienced in related financial matters. I recommend that you see someone from Mutual Benefit. Get expert help.
Mutual Benefit. You take care of today, we'll take care of tomorrow.
In the Caribbean, where we blend Dutch Master cigars, our master blender, Augusto Santiago, meets the tobacco person. Before he accepts, he tastes it 3 times. First with his nose, then with his touch. Then he wraps a leaf around his cigar and tastes it with his taste. Now you know why a Dutch master like our president is worth more. There really are masters at Dutch Masters.
CBS will be continuing its coverage of the NBA playoffs next weekend in extensive style with 5 big games. We'll be covering the conclusion of some first-round series, watching them closely with an eye to bringing you the best possible games. The first of the big weekend will be on Friday night. That's at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, and at that time the game will be either the 4th game of the Washington-Buffalo series or the Chicago-Kansas City-Omaha series. Then on Saturday and Sunday afternoons, we'll be covering 2 playoff doubleheaders with 1 Eastern and 1 Western Conference game on each day. So there's a lot of great basketball action on one weekend, and you'll see it all here on CBS. 9:35 to play in the first half. That's Houston. The Rockets are in the lead by 1 point, 32-31. Shot clock was almost out. That's why Steve Hawes had to fire up the long jumper. And again, the Knicks come down court looking to take the lead, something they've not had since the very early moments of the game. Barnett drives to the basket and lays it in. He can go.
I think this guy has great quickness, and if you're not careful, he's able to turn the corner real well, maybe better than any guard in the NBA. He's one of the guys that loves to take the ball all the way to the basket.
He's the guy that can run with Calvin Murphy, and the Knicks have the lead, 33-32, with 9 minutes to go in the first half. Newland loses the ball to Frazier, and the Knicks come down court. Walt Frazier surveys the field, puts on the pump fake dribble, switch off on him, and now Frazier is against Newland. Over to Barnett. 25-foot shot is there, and it's 6 points for Barnett. And again, he has ignited the Knicks as he did on Thursday night. And it's 35-32, New York with a 3-point lead.
Rudy Tomjanovich has been very quiet since they brought Hawthorne Wingo into game to cover him, and I think Houston's going to have to look for him a little bit more.
Look at Murphy. Weave is down, but he is rejected by Walt, and the loose ball is picked up by Frazier. Walt Frazier bringing the ball down court. Calvin Murphy against him. Frazier weaving his way. Fake. Puts it inside. There's a foul call. And the foul, let's see, go against Calvin Murphy. He leaves the game. And Ratliff comes in. So Johnny Egan gets 9 more inches in height back in the game as 5'9" Calvin Murphy goes out and 6'6" Ed Ratliff comes in.
This is scoring so far from Houston. Tomjanovich has 11 points. Every one of those is in the first period. He hasn't scored in the second period. Monroe has 11. Of course, Frazier's 10, but he has an opportunity to add to his total here.
The Rockets led at the end of the first quarter, 28-25. Now the Knicks are up 35-32. 7:13 to play in the first half. Following this game, we'll be going to Augusta, Georgia, where the famed Masters tournament is now in the 3rd round. 7:09 left to play in the first half. The Knicks have a 4-point lead, their biggest advantage. Ron Riley of Houston looks inside. Gus Bailey is in the game. He is matched against Barnett. Bailey with a 3 in tight advantage. He's a 6'6 guard. Out to Newland, and Newland with a high arcing pump shot. Makes it a 2-point difference.
You know, Don, I really think that maybe the reason Houston lost the game, New York is really overplaying real well at all positions. And Houston's having trouble getting to their offensive motion.
Knicks turn it over, lose the ball beneath their own basket. There is Jim Barnett, who's come in here in the second quarter, thrown in 6 quick points to put the Knicks in the lead. But now it's just a 2-point lead. And Houston can tie it up with a field goal here. They go out to Steve Hawes. Line drive, jump shot from the big man, knocks the game at 36.
Steve Hawes is a very good shooter, particularly from around the free throw line area. And also, he's one of the better passers in the NBA. A lot of people don't know about him. He played ball in Europe, and this is his first year in the NBA.
Phil Jackson back in the game for New York, working against Ron Riley. The spinning hook shot doesn't go. Fight for the ball, and Hawes gets it. Goes to Newland. Right by Frazier with a switch hand dribble, and Newland puts it up off the run. No foul. As Newland outfights everybody and gets the free ball. 5 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in the first half. Newland working to get the inside shot. Will have a foul call against New York.
Newland made a very good play on that particular drive. But the thing he should have done, he should have shot the ball up to the basket. He would have gotten two free throws, but he elected to pass the ball off. And, of course, he doesn't get the 2 shots.
Neil Walt is charged with a foul. There was first team foul of the second quarter against the Knicks. So now we have 5 minutes and 43 seconds left to go in the first half. As Red Holtzman's on his feet, his club all tied up with Houston at 36.
Hey, Detroit, how about a special offer for guys who need big cars?
Ford presents a new limited edition Ford that's sticker priced at least $332 less than full-size Fords have been. It comes with automatic transmission, power steering, power brakes, steel-belted radials, and more. There's also a lower-priced limited edition of America's favorite full-size wagon. But quantities are limited, so order now for best selection. Ford means value. See your local Ford dealer. Look close and compare.
Tools are my living. I use 3-in-1 oil to help prevent rust and keep my tools working better and lasting longer. Here's a tip. These 2 workmen have identical saws. We'll wipe this one with 3-in-1 oil. 3-in-1 oil with LubriShield makes the oiled saw slippery, so it cuts easier and faster. 3-in-1 oil also makes screws and nails go into wood easier and faster. Use 3-in-1 oil to help prevent rust, make things work better, last longer.
Tomorrow, the NBA on CBS moves to Kansas City for coverage of the Western Conference Playoff Series between the Chicago Bulls and the Kansas City Omaha Kings. The Bulls, as no doubt you know, won the first game of that series, but the Kings have to feel their chances of evening the score are better in their beautiful new arena. That's the Kings and the Bulls tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern Time, following our special NBA scouting report. Mike Newland comes out. Punches the fifth. In the game for the Houston Rockets with him. Gus Bailey, Steve Hawes, Ron Riley, and Ed Ratliff. In the ball game for the New York Knicks, Earl, Monroe, and Jim Barnett in the back line. Dennis Bell is up front now, along with Hawthorne Wingo and Phil Jackson. Inside to Ratliff. Draws the foul. They go right up against Dennis Bell. He just came in the game. They went right to him. He drew the foul.
You know, probably the reason they ran that play, Dennis Bell's a rookie. And when you run plays like that, when you see a rookie come into the ballgame, you always seem like you want to run a play at him right away. And it's probably the first time that it happens, you're going to foul. I think every rookie goes through that.
Ed Ratliff from Columbus, Ohio, where he led East High School to 2 consecutive Ohio State championships, went to Cal State at Long Beach. And he had a real decision to make whether to play basketball or to play Major League Baseball. He's a great pitcher.
Well, I think he made the right decision. It seems they pay basketball players when they do baseball players these days.
They are throwing around that gold dust, aren't they?
They certainly are.
You got some of it.
No, not very much.
A whole lot. 5:46 to go. That free throw gave the Rockets the lead. Now Ratliff can give them a 2-point advantage, which he does. It's a 38-36 game. There is Walt Frazier on the bench, playing a big floor game so far. Directing the Knick offense now, Earl Monroe will be called on to do that. Here is Jackson coming out high. Dennis Bell is working either side of the lane underneath, trying to get free. Knicks bringing their offense away from the basket, trying to get that lane open underneath. Here is Monroe, pump faking, Not enough there, and Calvin Murphy. Spread eagles and look at him go down the court with the ball at 5'9". Ron Riley loses his man with a fake and puts in the jump shot. And all of a sudden, the Rockets, who were down by 4 a couple of minutes ago, are up by 4. Barnett loses the ball going to the basket.
Maybe the one fault that Jim Barnett has in a basketball game, he sometimes loses control. And he went a little bit too fast. Here he is, goes a little bit too fast, and mishandles the ball, and away it goes.
Here's Ron Riley looking inside. They're looking to the weak side, the side away from the ball where there's a lot of motion in the Houston offense. Very, very aggressive, moving hard. And here is the foul call. Gus Daly was pushing somebody underneath and turned the ball over to the New York Knicks. Bradley comes back in, and Walt Frazier comes back in. So 4 of the 5 starters are in the game for the Knicks. Jackson, Bradley, Monroe, and Frazier, along with Hartshorn Wingo. It is 40-36. The Rockets are in the lead. They led throughout the entire first quarter, had a 3-point lead at the end of the first 12 minutes. Frazier behind the back. Out to Bradley, and Bill Bradley gets the free shot, makes it good.
One of the great things about Walt Frazier, he seems to draw a crowd of people out there, but when he does draw a crowd of people, he gives it up to someone that's open. And I think it's really a great test of a good basketball player.
Steve Hoss is left free. He shoots that like you used to, no arc.
That guy can shoot the basketball. He's a good player.
42-38. A 4-point lead for the Rockets. Fighting hard for those loose balls. Jackson and Ron Riley work for it. What are we going to have here? Looks like it might be a foul call. It is on Phil Jackson.
That's Phil Jackson's third foul. And New York is also starting to get some players in foul trouble. And this basketball game means so much. These players are so aggressive today. It'd be a shame that if every team will lose all the good players.
4 minutes and 7 seconds left to go in the first half. It is 42-38. The Rockets with the lead and the ball. Ratliff coming out against Bradley. And here is another whistle underneath. Official Darrell Garrison blows the horn underneath. Offensive foul is the call.
Offensive foul on Steve Hall. That's 2 offensive fouls he's had in the last couple of minutes of this ball game. The reason for these offensive fouls, Houston tries to run a lot of plays with their center involved in setting screens, and sometimes they don't get stopped real well, and of course the officials are watching for that.
Neil Walt looking for a shot, puts up his first shot of the game, and it's a good one, and now it is a 2-point advantage for Houston, 42-40. They are down to 3:35 left to go in the first half. A clean reject by Walt underneath, but Calvin Murphy gets the ball, goes to Ratliff, and he drives the baseline of the court, lays the ball in, and Houston leads 44-40. Ratliff now has 8 points for the Rockets. Walt Frazier looking to lose his man off the shield and screen from Neil Walt. Rebound tipped by Bailey to Ron Riley. And Houston comes back the other way. Red Holton on his feet, shouting out to the official. Steve Hawes still in the game for Houston. He has 4 fouls. Johnny Egan on his feet. The Rockets coach shouting out a play. He wants the number 3 call. That means get it in the basket.
Houston is really looking a lot toward Eddie Ratliff inside. The foul was on Bill Bradley that time. Bradley just, here's the play. Just an overmatch inside. Bradley, of course, hacked him across the arm. Eddie Ratliff's going to have a chance to make a couple of free throws.
So again, the Houston Rockets, who are down by 4 and have come back to take a 4-point lead, are accorded a standing ovation here at their home arena.
He flies to faraway places, bringing last week's letters, yesterday's newspapers, and memories of home. Now comes Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. America's quality beer, Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer, Miller Beer. If you've got the time, we've got the beer, Miller Beer.
America wakes up with Skin Bracer.
Thanks
Thanks. I needed that.
Menin Skin Bracer is the morning aftershave. Its skin tightener and chin chillers wake you up like a cold slap in the face. And now, the world discovers Skin Bracer.
どうもそれが必要だったのさ。
Janice, some Head and Shoulders?
We're out of Head and Shoulders.
Oh, honey.
Try this new shampoo. Smells mild.
Yeah, but I have dandruff.
Your hair's so soft and sexy looking.
But when I use my Head and Shoulders regularly, it controls my flakes and itches.
Oh, this new shampoo does just as good a job.
Prove that and you can have the car.
New Head and Shoulders with a new mild fragrance.
Where's the bus?
Come on. I'll drive you to work.
There you see the time left to play in the first half. And there is the count, 44-40 Houston. The third and deciding game of this best-of-3 series. The Rockets and the New York Knicks. There is Zayd Abdul-Aziz. You used to know him as Don Smith. In the game for the Houston Rockets, he is 6'10". They've got three big men they go to. And at the free throw line, Ed Ratliff. He has 8 points.
You know, you mentioned they have three big men. The way every one of them is fouling so far, they're going to need them when this ball game's over.
And there's been very few signs of discord between player and official. These guys know they're committing fouls. It's just a rough game.
Well, the reason for it, because all the players, as you mentioned, are so conscious of playing good, tough defense, and that's where most of the fouling is occurring.
Ed Ratliff gets them both. He has 10 points. The Rockets now have their biggest advantage of the game, a 46-40 lead. 2 minutes and 45 seconds left to go, and now the Knicks are 5 men in motion. But they lose the ball as Ron Riley takes it away. Tipped away from Aziz by Hawthorne Wingo, but the Rockets will inbound the ball. Remember the night that Zayd Abdul-Aziz got in a slug out with Luke Jackson?
That was a few years ago. He was known by Don Smith then. One of the most unbelievable fights that I've ever seen or heard of in the NBA.
Here is Calvin Murphy going outside to Gus Bailey down low to Aziz. No shot. Walt tips the ball away. Here comes the Knicks on the run. Lead pass intended to Hawthorne Wingo. The Knicks again throw it away. Here is Calvin Murphy trying to drive on Frazier. He shuts it off. Bailey at 6'6", fires it, lays it off flat. And it's a 48-40 game. And the Rockets are threatening to open up the big lead now as the first half wears down. Gus Bailey, an outstanding defensive player. Hawking, Walt, Frazier. Monroe can't hit. Ratliff comes down with the ball. And the Rockets are running, putting the pressure on. They can go up by 10 with a bucket here, and Bailey gets it off the hooking shot. And Ginelli is now going back in the game as Johnny Egan has to be delighted with what he sees now. Wingo throws the ball right over to Gus Bailey. The Knicks are breaking down. The Knicks are making mistake after mistake, and the Houston Rockets have opened up a 10-point lead at 50-40. We have a minute and 20 seconds left to go in the first half. Ron Riley from way out. Aziz down with the offensive board, puts it up. Yeah. We got it all working out.
New York needs a timeout very badly. We've got to go get organized again.
This place is an absolute din, a roar of noise. As the sold-out arena has been on its feet every time the Rockets have put on a big show, and they've certainly done it now. (52-40) is the score, with a minute and 12 seconds left to play in the first half. Oh, baby is right.
You know, the reason Houston's got back in this ball game, got a 12-point lead, the Knicks are noted for their good defensive plays. But believe me, Houston right now is just doing the thing that New York normally does so well. They're beating New York their own game. It's a good, sound, tough defense. They're overplaying at every position. The Knicks are turning the ball over. And, of course, when a team turns the ball over, they're able to score easy baskets from the other end.
And that's what they've been doing. You know, for hundreds of American athletes, 1976 doesn't seem as far away as it may the rest of them. That's because they are already preparing for the Olympic Games in Innsbruck and Montreal. and our Olympians can use your help and financial support. One way you can help is by sending for this distinctive key ring embossed with the Olympic seal. Just send a $5 contribution to the U.S. Olympic Committee, Box 1000C, Cathedral Station, Boston, Massachusetts, 02118. And speaking of Boston, Massachusetts, there are a lot of Celtics watching this game right now because Monday night they'll open a best-of-7 series with the winner of this game at Boston Garden. The Celtics will have been off for over a week since their regular season ended. Their coach, Heinsohn, has had them playing inter-squad games for money to keep them sharp. Bradley can't get the shot. And again, the Knicks are held to one shot as the Rockets sweep clean the defensive board. Bailey brings the ball down court. Here is Calvin Murphy. So fast. Look at him go between the legs, get into the lane, put the ball up. Not enough there, and Hawthorne Wingo takes it down for New York. We are now with 38 seconds left to go in the first half. Walt Frazier starts to drive the baseline, and he draws the foul from Gus Bailey. Jerry?
Madonna, I would look for Walt Frazier really to get interested in this ball game, particularly on the offensive end. They haven't looked at for him very much, and for them to win this basketball game, I think he's going to have to come up with a 30-point ball game, and he's very, very capable of doing it.
Walt Frazier at the free throw line. You see him, 13 points so far for Walt Frazier. 31 seconds left to go in the first half. The Rockets led at the end of the first quarter by 3. Then the Knicks came back, took a 4-point lead in the second quarter, and then New York started to make mistakes, and the Rockets started to capitalize, and they ripped open a 12-point lead. It is down to 9 now, as we have 21 seconds to go. In the first half, 10 seconds now on the Houston shot clock. They'll run it right down. Rudy Tomjanovich puts it up, 3 seconds to go. Up court to Aziz. He puts it up. This will count if it goes in, and the big guy is on fire.
Houston can do no wrong the first half.
So the buzzer sounds. The first half ends. A spectacular run down the stretch by the Rockets puts them in front 54-43 as they go to the locker room. So Red Holtzman now will have to counsel his team on how they can get back in this thing. They're down by 11.
You see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
These TV chief engineers rate RCA XL100 solid-state color TVs.
I would recommend the XL100 solid-state chassis because of its stability and reliability.
More TV chief engineers own RCA than any other color TV.
Solid-state means transistors, which have a tremendous reliability. And that's why I do recommend the XL100.
If it isn't RCA, it isn't XL100.
Ford announces a no-nonsense $250 off the sticker price on not just any new car, but America's best-selling newcomer, Ford Granada. In a limited edition you can order now, specially equipped with new exterior trim, a new bench seat and vinyl door trim. Also $250 off on limited edition Granadas with options like air conditioning and power steering. Comes in 3 feature colors in 2- and 4-door models. Quantities are limited, so see your Ford dealer and order fast. Ford means value. Look close and compare.
Okay, John. I'm John Havlicek, and I'm 6 feet 5 inches.
You're trying to reach the rim, okay?
Jonathan Hadley is 4 feet 2 inches. But we're both part of the new NBA Special Olympics basketball program for mentally retarded youngsters. I'm a coach, and Jonathan's learning very fast. Right, Jonathan?
All right.
For more information on playing or coaching, please write Special Olympics, Washington, D.C.
You know, the world of sport and the world of dramatic front-page headlines collided violently recently when it was revealed there was a possible connection between well-known sports figures and the country's most mysterious fugitive, Patty Hearst. The names of Portland Trailblazer center Bill Walton and his longtime friend, sports organizer Jack Scott, were linked with that of Patty Hearst. While neither Walt nor Scott answered any questions about the whereabouts of Miss Hearst at a news conference this week, they did agree to an interview with CBS sports reporter Ted Dawson.
Jack, you've said that there are things wrong with the sports establishment, with sports in the United States. What do you think is wrong?
The main thing is wrong with the people who control sports in this country. I think sports is a wonderful thing. Now, I think those people who own sports in this country try to use sports for their own advantages. And now I don't think that's right. And that's the kind of thing I've always spoken about. I've never spoken out about people who participate in sports. I've spoken out about what's wrong by those people who own the sporting system of this country and try to use them for their own advantages. My last 10 years of my life have been devoted to fighting for the right of people to be able to participate. I've never barred anyone in my life from participating in sports. Yet we have Walter Kennedy supposedly questioning whether Bill can play in sports. We have Pete Rozelle banning people from participating in sports. We have Walter Byers. Well, how many people has he banned for participating in sports? Whether someone has hair that's an inch too long and they say they can't play. My life has been devoted, my adult life, to fighting for the rights for people to be able to play. And it's a tremendous joy for me to be able to see athletes of the social awareness of a Bill Walton, of a Muhammad Ali, having the right to be able to participate in sports.
Your job is sports. That is your career. Do you believe, as Jack does, that there are major problems in sports?
Well, okay, let's get back to what you said, what you opened the thing with. These people came to me and offered me a lot of money to play basketball. Now, I like playing basketball, and I'm going to continue to play basketball because I like the game, regardless of the fact they pay me money or not. And just because they pay me money doesn't mean I'm required to change my position about anything or the way or how much I like to play or not.
Are you willing to risk your basketball career for the principles that you believe in? You've been quoted as saying you want people to band together against the government of the United States. Are you willing to risk your career for those ideals?
I believe in government by, of, and for the people. And that's not what's happening now.
But what if the NBA says to you, you can't say this, the FBI is looking for you, it's against the law, as they did with Muhammad Ali, you can no longer participate in the National Basketball Association. Are you willing to pay that price?
The NBA is smarter than that.
Bill, we've just seen you playing basketball with a group of small children. Is this the same guy who maybe could be wanted by the FBI? Do you have an involvement with the SLA, with Patty Hearst?
Come on, Ted, let's get serious here. I mean, supposedly, the most efficient, the FBI is portrayed as the most efficient intelligence system in the world, FBI and CIA organization. And, I'm sitting here, Jack is sitting here, and it's obvious that I don't see Patty Hearst here or any of her friends. And I think we should, get back to the more serious tone of questioning.
The question I'm asking is not trying to pin you to both of them, but to find out whether you did it yourself or whether somebody like the FBI is trying to plot you together with the SLA.
Well, at yesterday's news conference, there was a challenge to the FBI to, either do something or leave these people alone. And nothing has been done.
What direction will your efforts take in the years to come?
I'm going to keep struggling for freedom and a more, a more decent and humane life for everybody.
What about basketball?
I'm going to continue to play basketball too.
Men like Jack Scott and Bill Walton are a new breed in sports, but obviously they're a breed that the sports establishment is going to have to reckon with. For CBS Sports, this is Ted Dawson in San Francisco.
NBA playoffs continue following this word from your local station. Kojak investigates when men attending a convention fall victims to a very unconventional killer. Tomorrow night on CBS.
Hey, listen to that sound. We got to get this guy's speakers. Where's the boss?
May I help you?
How much for the speakers?
Oh, you mean these fantastic BIC Venturi. I tried every speaker on the market, and the BIC Venturi Formula 2 really puts out. They can take plenty of power without distortion.
How much?
I can't sell them to you. They're the reason people come to my discotheque. The BIC Venturi speaker sounds like a live band.
How much?
Hey, buy them yourself. All 20 Sam Goody stores sell them for only $112.50 each.
I'm not going to make an offer you can't refuse.
Okay, in that case, why don't you just take the speakers as a gift from me? Hey, Louie, it happened again. Run down to Sam Goody and pick up another pair of those BIC Venturi speakers.
The BIC Venturi Formula 2 speakers, only $112.50 each at all 20 Sam Goody stores. Call 986-5800 for the store nearest you.
Sam Goody, the world's largest record, tape, and audio dealer.
Channel 2, New York.
This is Don Cricky with Jerry West back at Hofheinz Pavilion at the University of Houston. If you were with us throughout the entire second quarter, you saw the Houston Rockets start to blow this game open. And they took an 11-point lead at the half, and it was really great defense, I guess, that keyed it.
I really feel that their defense and their rebounding were the key factors in the first half. You expect New York to play that kind of defense, and also you expect them to rebound reasonably well, particularly on the defensive board. But Houston totally dominated the backboard during that stretch. New York turned the basketball over, and when you turn the basketball over to a team that can run like Houston, you're going to be in trouble, and New York's in trouble.
Well, the Knicks have to get scoring from their backcourt, and they did get good production there. Frazier had 14, Monroe had 11. So they got 25 points there, but they haven't been getting it up front.
Well, Houston has just completely shut them off up front, and I think the reason they shut them off up front has been their good rebounding. New York has to get some offensive rebounds. If they don't, Houston's just going to get the ball off. They're going to come down and free-wheel it down there pretty good on their offense. And with the kind of players that Houston have on the offensive end, if New York doesn't contain their rebounding, well, there's going to be a long second half for it.
We're going to take a look now at some of the action that led up to this showdown game today, this final game of the best-of-3 series. As you know, Houston won on Tuesday night here in Houston. Then the Knicks went back to Madison Square Garden to win.
Well, here's what New York is trying to establish early in the ball game. This game was played in Houston. Kevin Coonert clogs the middle up real well, and Monroe forces a shot up. And, of course, here comes Houston down with a fast break. Newland up with about a 20-foot shot, and you give Mike Newland that kind of room and let him get that kind of rhythm, he's going to make it. Here's Calvin Murphy showing his great quickness. Here he is, a little stutter step. He blows by Frazier here. And Bill Bradley picks him up, and Calvin with a rather awkward-looking shot for 2 points. Gianelli with an outside shot. Murphy, tower of strength on the backboard, picks the ball up again, and here's that great quickness around Monroe this time. And also Frazier, and for a 15-foot shot in the corner that he can shoot so well. Walt Frazier, great anticipation, deflects the basketball. Phil Jackson picks it up, and here's Frazier, spots Barnett down the court. Barnett for a layup.
They didn't have a whole lot to cheer about in this game. They were beaten by 15.
Well, here's Frazier again. Now, here's the guy that I think could really turn it around for the Knicks in the second half. Great defensive play, picks it up and makes the basket. Frazier seems to do that in critical situations, and they're in a critical situation in this ball game. Houston moving the basketball. Frazier turns his head, and Newland goes away from the basketball. They call it backdoor for a lot of people to play basketball, and he lays the ball up for 2 points. Okay, here's the game in Madison Square Garden that the Knicks prevailed in. The great speed of Cal Murphy. Around Earl Monroe for the layup. That guy's really quick. You hate to see him when you have no help. Okay, here's a great play here by New York. They give the ball to Monroe, and Monroe returns a compliment around Calvin Murphy for the layup. Here's a great play by Walt Frazier. One of the better plays I've seen on videotape. Cuts down the middle with his left hand, his off hand, and notice this great shot and great body control. Okay, here we see the Knicks getting the basketball out real well, and I think they would do this a little bit more. They could get back in this basketball game. Frazier, of course, driving in for the layup. They've had a number of opportunities in this ball game today, but they haven't capitalized on it. Here's a great play by Jimmy Barnett, who played well in this ball game. He drives the middle, and everyone likes this play. Hawthorne and Wingo for the dunk. Walt Frazier again doing his magic. Bumps into Eddie Ratliff. Ratliff gives a little fake there, and Frazier for the 15-foot shot in the corner.
That's no harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul. Here's Frazier again. Over Ratliff again.
There you have it. As the New York Knicks even the series with a 106-96 win. In the regular season, the Boston Celtics and the Washington Bullets had the best one-loss record. They both had 60 and 22 records, and it was expected they'd go to the Eastern Finals, and that would ultimately decide the NBA championship. But Washington's a long way from getting there. They have to beat Buffalo, and they didn't do that the first game on their home court in Landover, Maryland.
They lost their home court advantage, and the reason they lost it, I feel, was the great play of Bobby McAdoo. Here's McAdoo again, drawing a crowd. He lays the ball up to Garfield Hurd. Hurd drives the lane and makes a layup. Phil Kinnear back from an injury, and here's Phil Kinnear doing what he does best, about a 20-foot jump shot. He was the leading scorer for the Bullets. Here's Bob McAdoo, a great drive over Wesley Unstill. Amazing agility of McAdoo. Kinnear with the steal, over to Jimmy Jones, to Weatherspoon for a layup. I think he walked, but the officials didn't call it. Here's another steal by Weatherspoon. Over to Kinnear. Kinnear in for the layup. That's a very, very high percentage shot. Great play. Garfield Hurd with the dunk shot. Here's Elvin Hayes, and here's why Bob McAdoo is the most valuable player. This man scores, he blocks shots, he rebounds. Randy Smith, a very talented Buffalo backward star with his specialty, the interception. Off the tip play, a pretty play. Jimmy McMillan, former Laker. Randy Smith with a layup.
All right, so there you have it. Buffalo taking a 1-0 lead. That's the best-of-7 series.
That's urban renewal for you. Did you come here often?
If unique is what you seek, Colt 45 malt liquor.
When you come to the Bell system, business communication is a lot more than just telephone.
It's research and development. Supply. Installation. Operations. Maintenance. And the Bell system takes responsibility for all of it. 100%.
Total responsibility from the Bell system.
Who knows more about phones than the phone company?
Hello, I'm Bob Cousy. You know, I'm very proud to be a member of the National Basketball Hall of Fame. Here in the Honors Court, you see the portraits of the great men in the history of the game, along with the listings of the contributions each made to basketball. So why not plan a visit to the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts, on the campus of Springfield College. It's open daily except for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day.
Back at Hofheinz Pavilion, the New York Knicks trail the Houston Rockets 54-43 at the end of the first half, and here's some highlights.
Well, here's a great play. Newland drives the lane, the baseline. He lays it to Tomjanovich for an easy basket. Calvin Murphy with a great drive along with baseline. He misses the basket, and a sensational tap by Eddie Rabbit. It was because it's offhand. He does a good job. He taps it twice, and he finally gets it in. Okay, here's Earl Monroe trying to shoot the basketball. Murphy deflects the ball, and Monroe shoots it again. Cooners block it this time. Very good defense by Houston's basketball team, and one of the reasons why they have such a good lead.
They've been so tough in the middle.
That's Hawthorne and Wingo breaking loose underneath. New York runs a lot of plays away from the basketball, and he was able to free himself. Here's Calvin Murphy on a sensational drive. Notice the body control in this little guy. Okay, Walt Frazier. You'll see Walt Frazier back in, do this a lot. Just an almost impossible shot. Jimmy Barnett, a great head and shoulder fake. Drives the middle. You can see his great quickness here. It really is, and he's capable of making plays like that consistently. Here's Frazier again. Notice, draws the crowd behind the back of Bradley. Bill Bradley will make this shot all day.
Dollar Bill puts it on.
Here's the rookie, Gus Bailey, and he played a very, very vital part in Houston's defense there late in the ball game, and also contributed two very fine driving layups. Here's Abdul Aziz, and this guy was tower of strength on the backboard, particularly late in the ball game. And Houston is glad to have three centers with so many fouls on each other's centers.
That shot, of course, was right at the buzzer. So the score at the half, an 11-point advantage for the Houston Rockets over the New York Knicks. Now you see that both teams are back on the floor warming up for the second half. Houston led at the end of the first quarter, 28-25, and then if you were with us, you saw the Knicks come back. Rally nicely as Barnett ignited that rally. He came up with 6 points, and the Knicks at one stretch had a 4-point lead. But then the Rockets, with great defense, forced the turnovers, got the ball going the other way, and then opened up this big lead, 54-43, heading into the final 2 quarters. Jerry?
Well, Don, as we look at this basketball game in the first half, it seems to me that what New York is going to have to do, they're going to have to tighten up their defense. And the way that they can do that is to shoot the basketball a little bit better, of course, but I think particularly their rebounding needs some improving. Houston, in the first half of the basketball game, out-rebounded the Knickerbockers 28-14. And also the scoring was, of course, decidedly in Houston's favor. Eddie Ratliff came up with a good first half, 12 points. Tomjanovich got the Rockets off. He had 11 first quarter points. Did not score in the second quarter. Newell and Murphy had 8 and 6, and Steve Hawes came off the bench for 6 in relief of Kevin Coonert. And here's the Knicks scoring. Frazier 14, Monroe 11, as most people felt their guards would do a lot of scoring. Barnett 6, but their front line really hasn't contributed a lot of scoring. Bradley, Jackson, the starting forwards, only 4 points apiece, and Wingo 2 and Neil Walt 2. So they need some more scoring up front.
Now, you're talking earlier about Ed Ratliff tipping it in with the offhand, his left hand. There's the percentages. Both shooting fairly well from the field. Free throws outstanding. Rebound, what a disparity there.
Well, that's the problem with New York in this first half. But when you shoot outside, you live and die with the outside shot, Don. And if you don't shoot the ball well, you don't seem to rebound real well.
Imagine Ratliff's offhand shot now. In your own case, you're a guy that scored almost 30,000 points in this league, over 25,000 in the regular season. Far and away the most of anybody in the playoffs, over 4,500. And you got a total of how many with your left hand?
I'm embarrassed to say I made 2 left-handed shots in my whole career.
Well, you've been trouble if you ever stepped in that right hand or somebody.
That's right.
Almost 30,000 points, though.
Well, listen, I was very lucky, but also I was very fortunate to play on a team that let me shoot the basketball a lot.
Well, the score is 30,000. You got to keep it in the air. And look at this. Jack Nicklaus has opened up a 4-stroke lead in the Masters, the 3rd round. And CBS has an excellent group down in Augusta, ready to bring you extensive coverage of the 3rd and 4th rounds today and tomorrow. Watson and Frio right behind, 4 shots back. But Big Jack said he's been playing better than he has in several years, is better prepared for this tournament. And the score so far would indicate that. Now the 3rd quarter is underway here in Houston. It is 54-43. Inside they go to Coonert, the Houston Rockets. The big guy gets the roll. And Houston has its biggest lead, a 13-point advantage.
And that's his first point, but talking to Johnny Egan before the ball game, Johnny feels that Kevin's one of the finer shooters in the NBA. And he's a very awkward-looking shooter, but very effective.
Knicks cannot hit. They're only getting 1 shot. The Rockets are getting the ball right back off the board. Here's Calvin Murphy, the distance, and lays it in. This game is opened up. The Rockets have blown it open. 58-43 with 11:20 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Well, Calvin Murphy showed his blazing speed, and here's Monroe trying to retaliate.
Now John Gianelli leaning towards the backboard. Banks it in nicely. His first points of the game. Murphy tries to take it down. Jackson takes the ball away up court to Monroe. The Knicks on the run. 3-on-2. Monroe takes it down. Goes to Bradley. Back the other way. As John Egan puts a little move on with the ball.
Well, John Egan probably doesn't want his team to lose their tempo. He wants them to play the good defense. And once they get the rebound, he wants them to get them down the floor real quickly. He doesn't want them to go one-on-one here at this stage. They're playing good basketball now, and the way they've got their lead, he wants them to stick with it.
Ed Ratliff with the ball. Calvin Murphy, Tomjanovich, Newland, and Coonert, who now has the ball inside in the lineup for Houston. Slapped out. The ball goes to Bill Bradley, playing with Jackson, Gianelli, Frazier, and Monroe. John Gianelli goes to inside. Nice assist by Bill Bradley, feeding off to Phil Jackson. And the Knicks are now down by 11, 58-47, with 10:20 to play in the 3rd quarter. The Rockets with an 11-point halftime lead. Calvin Murphy going one-on-one as the lane is open, and Calvin Murphy can't get the shot. Frazier clears. Here come the Knicks on the run. Up court to Monroe. Earl Monroe puts it up, and he'll get a 2-shot foul as Coonert commits the foul. Kevin Coonert, the big 7-foot center, gets his 4th foul, Jerry.
Okay, here's Monroe. He takes the pass from Frazier, and believe me, he paid for this 2 free throws. Kevin Cooner really hits him pretty good. You know what Houston's done the last 3 times down the floor? They have isolated the floor. Murphy against Monroe, and playing a little one-on-one basketball themselves, and it really hasn't worked out too well. He made the 1 basket, and he forced 2 other basket ups.
Dick Barnett, the Knicks assistant coach with Red Holtzman. Now look at those 2 Houston coaches, John Egan and Larry Siegfried. You think they're behind?
You know, one thing about these coaches, I'm sure the head coaches would like to maybe have themselves playing out there. All of them are old guards.
Right. That's right. Mike Newland looks to Ratliff, coming outside against Bradley. Around the top of the lane comes Calvin Murphy outside, and Rudy Tomjanovich is left free for the long shot, which he hits, and he now has 13 points. Again, an 11-point lead. Jackson came down with the ball, stepped on the inbounds line.
There's one thing you can't do. You can't go up with a shot and come down and catch it yourself. Tomjanovich played really tough defense that time, and Jackson just didn't have the shot.
Outside, Tomjanovich puts it up. Rebound down to Newland. Not enough there, and the third ball comes down and comes into the hands of a Houston player, Kevin Cooner. So they are just owning the backboard. They are just dominating the backboard. And a thoroughly disgusted Red Holtzman, the coach of the New York Knicks, calls for a timeout.
Today, at a high-level meeting, Volkswagen engineers announced to their management that the new Volkswagen Rabbit would average an incredible 38 miles to a gallon down the highway, go from 0 to 50 in a swift 8.2 seconds, and it wouldn't cost a bundle. Management's reaction?
Happy days are here again, the skies above are clear again. Happy days are here again.
This is a good way to show you how well new Superhold from Vitalis holds my hair in place. New Superhold is really different. It's a pump spray, not an aerosol. In laboratory tests under windy, humid conditions, it held hair in place 3 times longer than the leading men's aerosol spray. And up here, you can see how nervous I look. I mean, how natural my hair looks.
New Vitalis Superhold. It looks natural and holds longer.
The Houston Rockets around head coach John Egan. He played on a couple of Lakers teams with you. One of them went to the 7th game of the NBA Finals against these Knicks.
2 times he played for the Lakers in a game that went to the 7th game in the championship series. John Egan, really one of the very fine younger coaches in the league. He told me today that they were going to try to change a few things with their offense, and so far it's worked real well. But I would give a lot of credit to New York's defense. To Houston's defense at this point.
And that defense is unrelenting as Newland stays with Frazier as soon as he gets the inbound pass. Monroe looks inside at Ginelli. Can't find him free. Ratliff is against him. Now Bradley is left free. Leans in. Can't get the shot. Rebound to Tomjanovich. Here come the Rockets on the run. Down the middle is Mike Newland. 2 men are down underneath. Newland spins off to Murphy. And there's a lot of contact and all-out collision there, and a foul call will go against New York.
That's Phil Jackson's foul, and that's the 4th one in the ball game for Phil Jackson.
This has been a very intense game, and the fatigue factor is going to play a part in it before it's over. Houston's been using a lot more players than New York.
Well, I think really, if you're talking about fatigue, to me the team that runs a lot doesn't get fatigue. The team that has to play catch-up basketball, those are the teams that get fatigue.
Is that right?
Yes, I feel very definitely that's true.
64 to 49. The Rockets with a 15-point lead. Hawthorne Wingo looks into the lane, and Hawthorne Wingo is called for a travel.
You know, Don, it looks like to me New York losing their poise a little bit. They've come down, they've made mistakes that you don't see Knickerbocker teams make, and I know Red Holtzman's not real happy at this point.
Bradley takes it all away from Ratliff. The Knicks keeping a high-pressure offense going. Monroe drives, and here, let's see, it's going to be a blocking foul. It will go against Calvin Murphy. They rule he did not have position. That's the 3rd personal foul on Calvin Murphy. Both teams way under the limit. 2 team fouls on the Rockets, 1 on the Knicks. 8:23 to play in the 3rd quarter. Rockets led at the half, 54-43. Now they're up by 15 points. The deciding game of the best-of-3 series. Walt Frazier puts up one for New York. Walt Frazier now has 16. Knicks down by 13, and the Rockets keeping the pace up. Alvin Murphy, race horse basketball, out to Newland. Monroe and Wingo intercept the pass. Now watch this. Here's Frazier pulling up. Can't get the shot, but Bradley comes down with the offensive board. He is blocked. Wingo gets it. Now the Knicks start to get the offensive rebound. 3 seconds on Hawthorne Wingo. The basket is disallowed.
You know, that last particular play, Walt Frazier really should have passed the ball off. He had a man on the side that had a wide-open layup. Even the great players sometimes make mistakes.
Well, the Knicks are rebounding more aggressively, though, now.
They better rebound more aggressively. If they don't, they're going to get beat.
Tomjanovich shoots for Houston. Rebound is knocked around. It's out of bounds off the hands of the New York Knicks. Despite the protest of John Gianelli, Ed Ratliff will inbounds the ball for Houston. Tomjanovich has 15 points for the Rockets. Ratliff has 10. Newland has 8. Very balanced scoring on this team. Frazier with 16 for the Knicks. Monroe has 11. Almost all of those in the first quarter. And now a 3-second violation is signaled against the Houston Rockets. So Jim Barnett is in the game to work in the back line with Walt Frazier. They've got to get a guard who can penetrate. Knicks trying to set up, and Houston with that switching defense, which is pretty close to his zone, are just keeping the Knicks barricaded out. Just checkmated it completely. Newland gets the ball, keeps the dribble alive, puts the big hand and starts down court. Rudy Tomjanovich goes outside to Newland. Here is Ed Ratliff against Bradley on the side of the lane outside, and Walt Frazier steals the ball. Nobody near him. And Walt Frazier lays in 2 points. His 17th and 18th, and the Knicks are back to within 11.
Walt Frazier with a great anticipation there. They really overpassed on that particular play, and Frazier makes a real fine play, and of course makes a very, very easy basket.
6 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the third quarter. The Knicks with a lot of time to get back in it. The Houston Rockets can't afford to play conservatively now. There's still too much time as Newland throws it up from way out and hits it.
You know, Calvin Murphy's real good quickness made that play. He penetrated and, of course, laid the ball. Here's the scoring in the game so far. Frazier's highest point man in the ball game was 18. Tomjanovich 15.
A brief altercation is quickly broken up between Bradley and Ratliff.
I think what happened in this particular play, Bradley's elbow kind of hit Ratliff in the neck, and he didn't like it.
I think Ratliff's foot kind of hit Bradley. Like some of that kung fu fighting. 6:16 to go in the third quarter. Here it is again. You'll see Bradley throw a little elbow and Ratliff throw a little foot. No harm, no foul.
Always the NBA.
The third time this month, Miss Kelly, I think you need a new battery.
Oh, Lou, that sounds expensive.
There's something you should know about Delco batteries. Delco offers 3 series of batteries, 3 levels of performance and price. The right one for the way you use your car will give you the instant starting power you need.
Sounds like Delco's got the right prescription for my car and my checkbook.
Didn't hurt, did it?
Delco batteries, right for your car and your checkbook.
Want to save a lot of money on power tools this year? New Mod 4 from Black & Decker. It starts out as a cordless grass shear, but the energy pack slips off, and you can snap on a shrub trimmer, an upright shear, a drill, or a lantern. All powered by this one rechargeable energy pack, which means you only pay for the power source once, no matter how many tools you buy. New Mod 4 from Black & Decker, a real money saver.
With Jerry West, this is Don Crickey, back at Hoffheim Pavilion. And right now, the Houston Rockets in their 5 men in white, out back onto the floor, a 66-53 lead.
Well, after that little altercation between Ratliff and Bradley, wiser heads prevailed and they called timeout. I don't really think they wanted to go after each other. Most players in the NBA don't.
And you get thrown out in a hurry, and you don't want that in a game like this or any game. Bill Bradley looking inside. Great defense by the Rockets. They've got that middle shut off. Barnett forces the shot. 7-foot Kevin Cooner sweeps down the ball. And now Calvin Murphy brings the ball over the midcourt line. Loops it into Cooner, who's come out high. 5:45 to play in the third quarter. 66-53. And here is a whistle and a foul call.
Wingo was holding Tomjanovich up inside. And it seems to me that if Houston could run some plays, particularly some screens, and get Tomjanovich open, he's got the hot hand, he'd probably be able to convert those particular plays.
Calvin Murphy bumps it up. Perfect jump shot. Loose, easy spin on the ball. And 68-53, the Rockets in the lead as Calvin Murphy's put up 10 points. 5:20 to go in the third quarter. They try to go inside to Frazier. The ball is backed away, and Ratliff comes up with it. The Knicks turning the ball over time after time. And the Rockets getting it back and keeping the heat on. Calvin Murphy. He is an assassin out there now.
You know, Don, when you turn the basketball over on your offensive end, you're always in terrible defensive position. And New York has not been in good defensive position since Houston's made this big run at him late in the second quarter.
70-53, the Rockets with their biggest lead, a 17-point advantage. Again, the Knicks get one shot and it's no good. Rockets dominating the boards, even more than they did in the first half when they doubled New York's rebound total, 28-14. Newland looks to Calvin Murphy against Barnett. Calvin Murphy, a man with many tricks. Boy, he's got him doing handstands up
I
there.
know one thing that New York's going to have to do. They're going to have to get somebody on Calvin Murphy this half because he is looking to shoot the basketball, and they're running a lot of plays for him.
They're going to put a net over him. Here is a foul call against the Rockets as they lead by 19 points, 72-53.
New York, they must, and I must emphasize, they must start getting the ball down quicker. They're building a hole for themselves. They're 19 points behind. They're not playing good basketball. Things just haven't gone their way today.
Jim Barnett goes out for New York. Earl Monroe is in. Kevin Cooner goes out for the Houston Rockets. He just got his fifth personal foul. Walt Frazier goes to Bradley. Back to Walt Frazier. Earl Monroe looks to spin off Calvin Murphy. Nick still can't get a break. Finally, Frazier gets the bank shot from 10 feet out.
Look at the shot that Walt Frazier had. He looked like he measured that shot for about 2 seconds.
Frazier has 20. Look at Mike Newland charge the lane, lay the ball off flat. And again, the Rockets take command by 19 points. 74-55. Bradley comes back and drills it for New York, but the Rockets will not let up on the pressure as Calvin Murphy comes down full speed. Ginelli clears, looks for the outlet man, finds him in Frazier. 3-on-2. Monroe, lots of tricks, no basket. Abdulaziz rebounds. Calvin Murphy keeps it going. Look at this guy. Cross court to Tomjanovich.
I tell you, Don, Houston is really a confident basketball team at this point, and they're just outrunning New York up and down the floor, getting much easier shots than this, and that's why they have this big lead.
Their guards are getting down before the Knicks can set up, and they're getting those percentage shots. There's no question. 76-59. That basket was out. And there was a foul on the play.
Okay, here's Gianelli makes a real good play. Notice how he goes up with a good, strong move inside. Changes hands and shoots it with his left hand. Very good play by John Gianelli.
And so another standing ovation is given the Houston Rockets as they are now up 76-59.
Introducing the AMC Pacer, the first wide small car. The Pacer's so wide and has so much room, you can fit a Pinto or a Comet or a Maverick or even a car as big as this Nova inside it. And the Pacer's wide stance and isolated suspension system give it an incredibly stable ride. The AMC Pacer, the first wide small car, backed by the AMC Buyer Protection Plan.
When my dad died, my mom was left with 4 little kids and a big mortgage. So when I bought a home, the first thing I wanted was mortgage insurance. I called Allstate because the price was right.
Dick Borgia bought $20,000 of Allstate Mortgage Protection Life Insurance for just $760 a month at age 25. Want to help make sure your family could keep your house? Call Allstate now.
I've been there. Allstate can really help you.
Man, you know the rules, Jeff. First man in the water's got to buy the beer.
Again! You better make it a good one!
When it's your turn to get the beer, don't fool around. Get the beer named after Milwaukee, the city that means beer.
Old Milwaukee!
Old Milwaukee beer tastes as great as its name.
Jeff, you're a lot better at picking beer than you are at load rolling.
I think I do pretty good at both.
There's a part of the Houston law enforcement.
Maybe we shouldn't laugh.
No. Director Tony Verner throwing all kinds of things. Next, shooter Ronzoni. 76-59 as John Gianelli's at the free throw line. And it's 76-60, the Houston Rockets in the lead. The Knicks now go into a full court press. Tomjanovich breaks it, getting it up court to Newland, who zings it over the timeline with a dribble. Ratliff to Aziz. Oh! Travel before the shot.
You know, that's always a play that you hate to see nullified. The guy gets up, he works real hard to get the ball down the floor, and Aziz makes a step shot. Okay, here's a pass to Ratliff. And he just forgets to take a dribble, and of course, the shot is disallowed.
He puts the big egg in the little basket hard. That's right. Now back to live action. It's 76-60. The Rockets coming over the ball after a missed New York shot. Newland goes to Tomjanovich. He's a very confident shooter.
I tell you, you just cannot give Rudy Tomjanovich any room at all. He'll make an open shot all day.
Earl Monroe looking for a shot. That middle is just completely cordoned off. The Knicks can't get in there.
If you notice what Houston's doing to the defense, every time a Knickerbocker player drives toward the corner, somebody leaves their man, they trap him over there. Johnny Egan's trying to play a lot of half-court defense, so they don't allow New York to swing the ball the way they like to. I think Phil Jackson must have lost one of his contacts.
The NBA playoffs. One of the great spectacles in American sport. And tomorrow, more NBA coverage and a special scouting report on the NBA playoffs. That's from 1 to 1:30 Eastern Time, just before the playoff game between Chicago and Kansas City, Omaha. At Kansas City. Here at Houston, they're looking for one of Phil Jackson's contact lenses. That can take a while.
You know, they won't allow them to hunt for that very much anymore. You have to take a timeout.
Tell you one thing, it's a pretty good chance the size 15 sneaker's going to step on it with all those guys walking around.
The sneaker's going to be where you can see the eye. That's for sure.
2:12 to go. Well, if you were Red Holtzman, Jerry, what would you tell your team now? What do they have to do to turn this around, if at all possible?
Well, what they must do, I feel, is to try to rebound better and get the ball down quickly. The way you can make up points in the NBA, particularly because of the 24-second clock, is that you must rebound and run the ball down the floor quickly. Here's the stat that's really the stat that's killing New York. Houston is just murdering New York in a backboard, 31-17.
One of the most fundamental plays in the game, and Ed Ratliff breaks three down the lane, gets the lead pass, lays the ball in, and Houston has opened up a 20-point lead. 1:46 left to go as Red Holtzman's gone to his bench now. Dennis Bell is in the game, looking for a shot. That Houston defense not letting up. Constant pressure on New York. No good shots inside whatsoever. Blocked shot by Ratliff. Bradley has the ball, and the shot clock ran out.
That's just great defense on Houston's part.
One of the great attributes of young John Egan as a coach, they say, is he never loses his poise during the course of a season. At one time this year, Houston lost 7 straight games, then they won 7. Lost 4 in a row, won 4 in a row. through good times and bad, he keeps his composure, and consequently he's gotten his team together. They head into the playoffs. Young team. Free ball. Oh, man, you've got to really want it. Mike Newland just flew through the air. Yeah, that guy.
You think Mike Newland wanted that ball, man?
Watch this.
Watch this play. He just dived this basketball. Incredible desire, and that's why they're winning this ball game. They look like they want to win this ball game more than this.
Something incredible happened at the Masters tournament. Johnny Miller shot on the front nine. You're not going to believe this. A 30. 30 strokes for 9 holes at Augusta National. It is a course record. And he now takes sole possession of second place behind Jack Nicklaus. Nicklaus is 9 under right now. Miller with that spectacular front nine, 30, is 5 under. So the challenge match everybody's been waiting for is on at Augusta National, and you'll see it following this game here on CBS. John Gianelli gets the tip as we open. Out to Earl Monroe. Monroe guarded by Gus Bailey. He was tough on Monroe earlier. He doesn't go for mistakes. Here's a charge on Dennis Bell.
Don, Eddie Ratliff's all over the place out here. You don't notice him so much with his scoring, but he is playing great defense. And when he first came into the league, he had problems with his defense. So if a player works at it, sacrifices himself a little bit, he becomes a fine defensive player. And Eddie Ratliff, John Eganfield, is one of the better ones for the forwards in the NBA.
The Houston Rockets lead the game 80-60. They have 35 seconds to play in the third quarter. The Rockets looking for more points. You can't let up. And here is Abdul Aziz. This guy's been shooting like a guard. 6'10".
The reason they're shooting so well, New York just does not have a hand on them. Houston's moving the basketball pretty well, but Houston is just playing great basketball.
Walt Frazier has been hawked by Mike Newland. Frazier having trouble getting the shots here in the second half. Having trouble backing in on Newland. Frazier admits Newland's the only player in the league he can't back into the basket on. Gus Bailey comes down with a rebound. At the buzzer, he puts it up. Almost got it. Almost got it. And so at the end of 3 quarters, Huff Hines Pavilion is a cacophony of noise. Unbelievable.
You see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
Gee, aren't Frenchmen terrific?
Yeah, why can't guys back home dress like that?
So slim, so rich. Oh, he's coming over.
It's easy to be mistaken for a Frenchman in a brigade shirt from Arrow. Slim, trim, very European.
Bonjour, mademoiselle. Parlez-vous American?
He's American.
You really think so?
Brigade from Arrow. No wonder American men look so good.
Last year was a rotten year for cars. Volkswagen sales were down. Vega, down. Pinto, down. Toyota, down. Gremlin, down. Datsun, down. Capri, Opel, Mazda, down. Of these leading small cars, last year only one was up, Fiat. It was our best year, ever.
George and I fell in love with this place on a day just like this one. We worked hard fixing up the cabin, and even though we only used it on weekends, to us it was home. I never thought we'd give it up. Then I never thought George would die.
Even if your family should lose you, they shouldn't have to lose all you've worked for. Talk to us about your life insurance needs. Mutual of New York. Money for the future.
Johnny Egan and Calvin Murphy and Larry Siegfried. A final consultation before they go out for the final 12 minutes of this game. The first quarter, the Rockets outscored the Knicks by 3. Outscored them by 8 in the second quarter. Outscored them by 11 in the third quarter, and they're up 82-60. And they take control of the tap to open the final 12 minutes of play. This is Don Crickey with Jerry West at Houston, Texas. The white-clad Houston Rockets in the playoffs for the first time. The only player on their team who had previous playoff experience is Abdul Aziz. The big guy, he's throwing in the jump shot. That was Gus Bailey down the lane laying the ball in. He has 6 points.
Frazier tried a steal on that particular play, and when you miss on the steal, you sometimes look pretty bad, but Bailey still made a very nice shot.
Earl Monroe against Calvin Murphy. Walt Frazier looking for a shot. Phil Jackson, just superb defense by the Houston Rockets. The Knicks can't get a shot. Can't get the decent shot. Calvin Murphy beats Abdul Aziz. He's called for a travel.
Calvin Murphy should have slowed down that fast break.
There is the president of the New York Knicks, Mike Burke.
Very concerned man at this point.
Has to be with his club down 84-60. 11 minutes and 14 seconds left to play. That's all that's left in the game, and in all probability, the New York Knicks 74-75 season, as the Rockets have built up an 84 to now 62 lead, a 22-point advantage. And apparently they're going to start working the shot clock to run it down.
I wouldn't be surprised if they really would look to run their offense real well, but the way they got the lead was running, Don, and I can't see them getting out of that too much.
Riley puts up a shot. Hartshorn Wingo takes it down for New York. And Earl Monroe starts up court for the Knicks. Calvin Murphy just staying right with him. He's got a glove on him. But Monroe, with those quick moves, gets free, and the tip-in is good by Hartshorn Wingo.
That's exactly how they could get back in the ball game. That's the only way they're going to get back in the ball game is to go that backboard very hard.
Now the Knicks are down by 20. Gus Bailey, the rookie from Texas El Paso, the defensive specialist, is picked up by Phil Jackson. They go outside of Calvin Murphy, who's been quarterbacking this team. And finally, Zayd Abdul-Aziz misses the long shot. Here come the Knicks on the run. There's a foul called. It'll go against Houston and Calvin Murphy. Jerry?
Monroe, the last 4 times down the floor, has really looked to shoot the basketball. Murphy has 4 fouls now. He's going to have to be a little careful early in this fourth quarter. They're taking Monroe out now, and they're going to... No, they're not going to take Monroe out. They're going to put Barnett in the lineup and try to get a quicker team in here.
Building up that big lead in the third quarter, the Rockets hit 14 of 21 field goal attempts. The Knicks hit only 7 of 21. Ratliff switched it down like a big hawk. 9:45 to go. The Rockets in white with the ball on their home floor. This team in the playoffs for the first time. Coming down to a third of the deciding game against the New York Knicks. Gus Bailey puts it up. They got it all working.
You know, Houston's really moving their men real well out here today, and that's why they've had so many shots. They've had a lot of open shots, and when you have open shots, you're naturally going to shoot a much better percentage.
Frazier with a great move gets free and arcs it in. Beautiful shot by Walt Frazier. He now has 22 to lead New York, and to lead all scorers in the game. Tomjanovich is the high man for Houston with 19. Calvin Murphy into Abdul-Aziz. He is rejected by Phil Jackson.
You know, he went up the first time to stuff the ball the first time. Phil Jackson blocked it, but he was persistent, and with good effort, he made it again.
Earl Monroe goes inside. Jackson puts it up. Hartshorn Wingo goes back up and he'll shoot 2 shots. That's only the first team foul in the fourth quarter against the Houston Rockets. The Knicks have done. Ratliff gets the foul is 4th.
Here's the play inside. Jackson sort of loses the handle, just throws it up and trying to draw a foul. Wingo inside, rebound, fake. And watch this foul. My goodness. That's called no harm, no foul. But in this case, it was a foul.
Hartshorn Nathaniel Wingo goes to the free throw line.
New York favorite. They love him in New York City.
They loved him in Japan when he went over there. Played in that summer league in California, went to Japan. Japanese fans all yell out, Wingo, Wingo. John Ginelli comes back in the game.
They're taking Frazier out. And they're going to go with Monroe and Barnett in the backcourt.
And it's 88-67. The Rockets with a 21-point lead. 9:40 left to go. Up court to Calvin Murphy. This guy just doesn't wear down.
Well, he has great stamina. Also, great physical, though. He is one of the quicker players in the NBA. Zappa's been to take the offensive board. Rebounding has been the difference. Rebounding and the great defense that has blocked the Knicks out to afford those rebounds for Houston. Knicks have been getting a one shot throughout the game. If they don't make it, the ball goes over to the white shirts. Tomjanovich. Guys can't miss. They love it in Houston. Their first playoff team. And the Knicks want a timeout. 9:05 to go in the game as the Rockets are inching closer to a 7-game best-of-7 series with Boston.
When a man uses an aftershave, what does he really want?
Fancy bottles?
Full of fancy perfume and fancy prices? No! A man wants to smell like a man.
There's something about Aqua Velva. He wants to be cool and refreshed.
There's something about Aqua Velva. A man wants to feel like a man. Feel like a man, 'cause there's something about an Aqua Velva man.
You know, a new light beer from Miller is everything you've always wanted in a beer. And less. Less filling. Because it has less carbohydrates and 1/3 less calories than a regular beer.
They're getting a one shot throughout the game. If they don't make it, the ball goes over to the white shirts. Tomjanovich. Guys can't miss. They love it in Houston. Their first playoff team. And the Knicks want a timeout. 9:05 to go in the game as the Rockets are inching closer to a 7-game best-of-7 series with Boston.
When a man uses an aftershave, what does he really want?
Fancy bottles?
Full of fancy perfume and fancy prices? No! A man wants to smell like a man. There's something about Aqua Velva.
He wants to be cool and refreshed.
There's something about Aqua Velva. A man wants to feel like a man. Feel like a man, 'cause there's something about an Aqua Velva man.
You know, a new light beer from Miller is everything you've always wanted in a beer. And less. Less filling. Because it has less carbohydrates and 1/3 less calories than a regular beer. I didn't drink all this beer by myself. I had a little help from my friend. But imagine a great tasting beer that's less filling. And at 6'3", 230, there's a lot of me to fill.
Come on.
New Light. Everything you always wanted in a beer and less.
How many losses is it going to take before we can get some offside help from our forwards and our people, regardless if it's a guard or a forward, that I don't want block shots. I want body position and charging fouls. But it's prettier to block shots.
As playoff pressure mounts, watch for NBA Playoffs, a scouting report, Sunday, April 13th, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS.
The Masters Tournament, the most prestigious event in American golf, is next on CBS following this game. Jack Nicklaus, the second-round leader, 9 under par now. But look at Johnny Miller. He has come into the picture, number 2 right now, running second with an incredible 30, a course record on the front 9 today at Augusta National. You'll see extensive coverage of the Masters Tournament next on CBS. 90-67 is the score. The Rockets have the lead. And a foul is committed on Calvin Murphy as he brings the ball over the midcourt line. Bill Jackson Hackton.
Don, this is a very, very difficult time for a basketball player to play. Okay, New York's trying to trap Calvin Murphy. Here's one guy you can't trap. He is an incredible dribbler, and you're going to foul this guy when you're trying to steal the ball away from him. It's a very difficult time to play a basketball game. Your team is behind by 23 points. Seems like everything you're doing is wrong. You know that if you don't win this, there's no more games, and New York bench doesn't look very happy right now.
Nope. Winners tell jokes and losers say deals.
Always. I've been in this position a lot of times. It's not very much fun, believe me.
That's right. You, of course, had the one championship year, but you went to that 7th game. Could have won it if Selby hit that shot against the Celtics.
Number of times. But it's not very much fun. You can always hear the other team clapping over there, and you're sitting in your locker room, and no one's very happy.
Rudy Tomjanovich bangs it off glass. Dennis Bell way up to clear the rebound. Here comes Jim Barnett on the fly. He has to go now, as time is a factor. 7:24 to go. That was a goaltend. Kind of a negative compliment to get up that high to do it. And so it is a 90-69 game. And here is a foul call against Jim Barnett. Calvin Murphy bouncing up and down like a rubber ball in this game.
So again, here's the great quickness of Calvin Murphy. It's almost impossible to trap Calvin Murphy. And we can see the play again. They just hit him inbound. He just makes a little quick move. Barnett gets his body in the way, and of course it's a backcourt foul.
Now, you're looking at Calvin Murphy. This is hard to believe, but it's true. There are almost no players in the entire NBA who can beat this man from under the court dribbling a basketball. If they dribble one and he dribbles two, he can dribble 2 balls down the court faster than almost everybody can dribble one.
Well, he's an incredible person. Man of his size to be able to play in this league is a remarkable accomplishment itself. But really playing well as he's done is even more remarkable.
He beat John Havlicek once at Havlicek summer camp. Havlicek dribbling 1 ball, Murphy dribbling 2. Saeed Abdulaziz comes down with the ball. Throws it over the midcourt line to Tomjanovich. Into Zaid. He wants to stick it down hard. Rockets own the backboard. Rockets own them.
I have never seen a team in a long time get dominated this way on the backboard. They are just totally dominating the backboard.
Jackson goes to Barnett. And the one-hander comes back into basketball.
I'm afraid that shot's a little bit too late in this ball game.
Here is Ron Riley. He lays it in, and it's a 96-71 game. It'll be the Rockets and the Boston Celtics in the best-of-7 Eastern semifinal series. During the regular season, they played 4 times. The Celtics won them all. In and out. Here comes Tomjanovich to Murphy. Racehorse basketballers still going to the whip. Here's Tomjanovich. Man.
Sensational stuff for Tomjanovich. I think that really much stops off the day for him. He's had a great ball game, 25 points, played outstanding basketball through the whole game.
98-73 now. 24 points for Walt Frazier. And this is really a great moment in the history of the Houston Rockets, winning their first playoff series, 2-1.
I'm not an actor. I'm a small businessman. But for over 2 years now, you've seen me in this commercial.
I'd like to get rid of some of the gray, but not all of it.
Grecian Formula 16 lets you control just how much gray you slowly get rid of. Some of it, most of it, or all of it.
2 years ago, I used it every day for about 3 weeks until I got rid of just as much gray as I wanted. It's as easy to use as water. No mess, won't rub off. Now I use it just once a week or so to keep it this way.
Grecian Formula 16.
Volkswagen happily introduces an automobile that averages an incredible 38 miles per gallon down the highway. That has the power to take you from 0 to 50 in only 8.2 seconds. And best of all, it won't cost you a bundle. Volkswagen happily introduces the Rabbit.
Happy days are here again.
This is an antiperspirant spray called Sure. It's different. Really. Most antiperspirant sprays go on wet and oily, compared to Sure, which goes on dry. And Sure keeps you dry. Prove it under your own 2 arms. Try Sure on your left side, and the spray you like best on your right side. If you're like most people, your left side will convince your right side. You'll be drier. We're Sure.
much time separates the Houston Rockets from making an official a 7-game best-of-7 series with the Boston Celtics. That's how they lead it 98-73. And coming next, the Masters Tournament here on CBS. With Johnny Miller with a front 930, a course record today of 30, moving into second place behind Jack Nicklaus. Jesse Dark is now in the game, the Knicks' #1 draft choice out of Virginia Commonwealth. Dennis Bell is in the game. Mel Davis is in the game. Hawthorne Wingo's in along with John Gianelli. Not quite enough there. They tip it out to Mel Davis. And Killer Davis puts it in from the backboard. I don't know if he was looking for that, but he'll take it. Foul was on Jesse Dark. And the ball will be inbounded by Calvin Murphy of the Houston Rockets. Ron Riley goes to Gus Bailey inside to Calvin Murphy. Outside to Bailey. Kevin Kunert with 5 personal fouls in the game down the stretch now. Outside to Gus Bailey, a 30-foot shot. That tells the story of this game. When you're hot, you're hot. Something like that goes in, you know it's your day. Watch Calvin Murphy. Watch this. Gracefully laying the ball off the backboard. Calvin Murphy has 18 points. And the Houston Rockets own this game. They have for a long time. In truth, it was over long ago. It's 102-75. Fights for the rebound. It'll come inbound to New York. 4:12 left to play. And then the Masters Tournament here on CBS. Inbounds, they go to Neil Walt. Throws up the hook shot, rebound down to Gus Bailey. Again, one shot for the Knicks. It's no good, and again, the rebound is over to Houston. Kevin Kunert puts it up. Not quite enough there. Neil Walt in the game. Here's how the scoring breaks down. Tomjanovich, who just sat down, is the high man in the game now at 25. Look at Hawthorne Wingo crash the boards and tip it in for New York with 3:40 left to go. And it's now 102-77. 7 points for Wingo. Kevin Kunert against Neil Walt. Rockets running down the shot clock. Steve Hawes in the game to Calvin Murphy. $20 points for Calvin Murphy. 3:09 left to play. Again, the Rockets come up as the Knicks are now a demoralized team, but Hawthorne Wingo intercepts the pass. And this is now deteriorated to a schoolyard game because the Rockets had it in their hip pocket way back in the third quarter. Steve Hawes is called for traveling, and so with 2:41 left to play, Calvin Murphy leads the game with 20 points and is saluted with a standing ovation. Hawthorne Wingo drills it. Look at that guy. As he once said to somebody, "If you don't think I'm big enough to play, buy a ticket and come watch." Gus Bailey looks to go down the baseline. Shut off by Jesse Dark. Bailey puts it up. And Mike Newland takes down the offensive rebound. This has turned into a shooting practice for the Houston Rockets. 104-81, they lead the game. 2:05 to play, and Manny Sokol blows the whistle and stops the clock. Gus Bailey comes out. Kevin Kunert comes out. John Egan bringing his players out, kind of staging this closing of this show. Standing ovations one after the other. Hey, they could throw it up in the locker room at this point and go into hoop. 106 to 81, 1:45 left to go. Rejection, and here is Dave Wool in the game. Up court to Owen Wells. Fadeaway shot. I don't believe all this. I'm going to start shooting blindfolded here in a minute. If you're a Houston fan, this is the most memorable moment in the history of this franchise. It started as an expansion team in San Diego. Moved to Houston several years ago, and this is their first year in the playoffs. And they are dispatching the New York Knicks in this deciding game of a best-of-3 series unmercifully. 110 to 81. 1:25 to go. Mercifully, it's drawing to a close for New York. Dennis Bell looks to put it up. Gets his own rebound, right back up. That kid can get up in the air. And here's a foul call. It stops the clock with 1:12 to go. Jerry West has left for the Houston locker room, where he'll be talking with Johnny Egan and some of the Rocket players, smoking and joking over on the Houston bench. And it's just all hand slapping and good time. They did the big job in the game they had to win. The boys of summer in their ruin. 2 times the NBA champions in the last 5 years, the New York Knicks. Not this year. Here is Mike Doolin coming down with the rebound. There is Walt Frazier, who played a great game for New York, but the New York Knicks, the curtain coming down in their seats today. It's over. And the Houston Rockets will go against the Boston Celtics for the best of 7 Eastern semifinal series. That opens Monday night at Boston Garden. Rockets are over the limit. Dennis Bell will have 3 chances to make 2. It makes no difference now. 1:09 to play. And the Knicks exercise in futility here in the second half is illustrated by that. Dennis Bell missed the basket on the free throw. 110 to 81. But let's tell this team this has been a great, great franchise in the NBA. It's a team, as we mentioned, won 2 NBA titles in the last 5 years. They lost those great frontline players, Willis Reed, Dave DeBusschere, to retirement. They haven't been replaced. And it's really to be credit to the Knicks that they made the playoffs and what they had to work with this year. There you see the Masters is next as Dave Wall streaks down court. Tips the ball away and then saves Darryl Garrett, who's been crashing into the cheap seat. 55 seconds to play. The Knicks will inbounds the ball. Mel Davis to Neil Walk. Underneath it goes to Jesse Dark, who lays it in, and Jesse Dark will go to the free throw line for New York. A 6'3" guard, the number 1 draft choice for New York Knicks. The foul was on Zayd Abdulaziz, his second. Three points now for Jesse Dark. Mike Doolin bringing the ball up court for the Houston Rockets as you see the final seconds running down. The clock now with 40 seconds to go. Zayd Abdulaziz puts it up. Everything's going in the hole for Houston. Just everything. Here is Dennis Bell on the drive for New York, laying it up, and he is rejected by Zayd Abdulaziz. Up court to Dave Wool. Feeds off to Steve Hall. Jesse Dark goes down, and there's a foul call on the play against Dave Wool. It was only 24 seconds left. It makes no difference now. 116 to 84. The Rockets with a 32-point lead. They led by 3 at the end of the first quarter. They led by 11 at the half. They ripped it open in the third quarter. And then they just increased the lead methodically here in the fourth quarter. The difference in this game, the superior rebounding of Houston. They probably have 2.5 the number of rebounds the Knicks had. They've at least double their rebound total. And the Knicks, when they do get that one shot, just didn't get a second. 19 seconds, 18 seconds. Dennis Bell tips the ball out of bounds, and Houston will inbound it. There is the game high scorer, Rudy Tomjanovich from Hamtramck, Michigan. 25 points for Tomjanovich. Mike Newland drives and lays it in for the Houston Rockets. 8 seconds. Up court to Jesse Dart. The countdown from the Houston fans. Mike Newland throws the ball the length of the court. And the playoff series goes to the Houston Rockets. And there is jubilation here at Hofheim Pavilion. And there's the man it focuses around. Johnny Egan, who did a brilliant job as the head coach. There are the Knicks. They will be back, but not till next year. Not till next season. As the Houston Rockets take the third and deciding game by a rout. 118-86. Jerry West is heading to the locker room of the Houston Rockets, so momentarily he'll be returning. And Jerry West will interview the victors.
The 1975 Honda Civic CVCC. It's a very special engine. Not just because it got the best mileage of any car sold in the U.S., 42 miles per gallon on the highway and EPA lab test with our 5-speed transmission. Not just because it runs on regular, low-lead, or no-lead gas. No, what makes this engine so special is that it comes in this. Honda Civic, what the world is coming to.
It is said there is still a good 10-cent cigar left in the world whose name is Muriel. You have such a cigar, huh?
Yes, sir. Muriel Penatellas, Senators, Cornella Kings, they're really good 10-cent cigars.
Ramba! Only 10 cents. How does Muriel do it, huh? East of the pool of Muriel down. East of the pool of Muriel down.
This is Don Crickey back in Hofheim Pavilion, Houston, Texas. The Houston Rockets have just defeated the New York Knicks 118-86, an unbelievable score in a third and deciding game of this playoff series. The first game, of course, was won by the Rockets by 15 here. It went back to New York. The Knicks blew them out. But in the game they both had a win. Houston dominated and prevailed. To find out more about how the victorious Rockets feel about it, let's go to Jerry West in the Houston locker room.
We're in a very happy Houston locker room, and of course, a very, very happy man, the coach of Houston Rockets, Johnny Egan.
It's a great victory. You know, anytime you can beat New York, guys are happy. They're really happy. This is the first time in the playoffs for Houston, and we had the home court advantage. I mentioned that before the ball game, and it certainly did help us.
Johnny, we talked a little bit about some of your players before the ball game. You said that you're going to change your offense a little bit in this ball game today. It looks like to me that you started the ball game off trying to get the ball to Tomjanovich. Of course, he had the hot hand, and he got you away early and carried on for the whole ball game.
Well, we changed one or two things because, you know, naturally, when you're playing a series, they look and see what's happening, and they were keying on us. They keyed very well, I thought, in New York. They overplayed. They did the things that they were supposed to do defensively. So we changed one or two things, and they worked. Rudy had a super ball game, and we needed that from him this afternoon.
John, you know, and one other thing, I don't think I've ever seen a better rebounding effort by a basketball team.
As a club, the guys boxed out well because we really got beat on the boards in New York. They ran us. They played an exceptional ball game up there. This afternoon, our guys just wanted it. So they went out there and, you know, rebounding and defense is just guts and determination and do what you're supposed to do as a team, and we did it and we won.
John, what turned your season around for Houston here?
Well, I think two individuals did. We had Murphy and Tomjanovich and Newland last year. This year, Kevin Kunitz, big 7-footer, about halfway through the year, started to get some exposure, and he played very well. Got us confidence. Second-year man, Eddie Ratliff, really played well for us. Good defensive forward. Has a lot of poise out there, and you know, at this particular time, we're pleased with the way things are going.
John, this franchise is a relatively new franchise in a new town. The sport hasn't been so good here, but the crowd here today was just incredible.
Yeah, the last month or so, Jerry, you know, when you're winning, the crowd comes out, and we had 10,000 against Cleveland about 2 weeks ago, and we beat them here, and the people really got enthusiastic about it. And I never thought pro ball would go in Texas when I got down here. Now that we've been here 4 years, things are starting to look up.
John, congratulations on a great win, and good luck against the Celtics. Okay, let's go back to Don Cricket.
All right, there you have it. The final score, 118-86. We're going to be back at Hofheinz Pavilion as the Houston Rockets advance to a best-of-7 Eastern semifinal series against the Boston Celtics. That begins Monday night.
In the tradition of the world's most famous motorcycle, Harley-Davidson, two more expressions of engineering excellence designed for the man who won't settle for less. The Harley-Davidson SX-175 and SX-250 on-off-road machines. Take your choice, the SX-175, the SX-250, for the rider who demands the best, the Harley-Davidson man. See the yellow pages for your AMF Harley-Davidson dealer.
Your electric razor's not giving you a great shave, huh? Well, could be there's nothing wrong with your razor, but there's something wrong with your face. Your beard is just laying there. Get it to stand up with this Williams Electric Shave. With Electric Shave, your razor shaves closer, smoother, and with less irritation. And that's a fact. Get Electric Shave or Electric Shave Tender Face if you've got tender skin. Make your beard stand up. Make your razor shave better.
Okay, we're Calvin Murphy. Calvin, 5'9". A lot of people said you couldn't play in this league. A tremendous performer.
Well, thank you very much, Jerry. I'm 5'9", what it says in the program, but today I feel 7'5", believe me.
Your team played a great basketball game. I think you in the second half, particularly, looked like you really wanted the basketball and you wanted to look to shoot the ball.
No question about it. We talked about it at halftime. I was kind of tight at the beginning of the game. I was thinking so hard defensively that it hurt my offense. But in the second half, my teammates said, Murph, we need you to go out there and get us started early. And this is what I did. I looked towards the basketball.
Your team did a great rebounding job. Got the ball out to you guys. You got it down quickly for the good shot.
No question about it. You played long enough, Jerry, that you know that we can't run average-size players unless our big men control the boards. And this is what they did. We got that outlet pass. Consequently, we were able to accelerate and create a lot of action.
Well, New York, once they got behind, they don't have the big offense, and they weren't able to catch up. And it seemed like everything that the Rockets were doing was right at that point.
Well, you know, everything snowballs. Once things start going well for you, everything falls in line. And fortunately for us, this is what happened.
Calvin, congratulations. Continue luck in the playoffs. Okay, let's go back to Don Cricket.
Thank you, Jerry. And now for Jerry West, this is Don Cricket saying goodbye from Hofheinz Pavilion in Houston, Texas, where the final score was the Rockets 118, the Knicks 86. Now stay tuned for live coverage of the third round of the Masters from Augusta National Golf Club.